How do you know that you're successful? You already know that the deck in white society is stacked against you, so how do you know when you're successful, even though the deck is stacked against you? Greetings, brothers and sisters from around the world, and welcome back. This is the home, the haven, the stronghold, and the super fortress of intelligent black thought. This is the BlackChannel.net radio. I am your host, your brother, your humble servant, the Black Authority. And sitting in with me today, of course, if it's TBA, it's Mona Lachey. Welcome back to the Black Channel, Mona.
Black first, thank you for having me.
Now, I was going to talk about a bunch of things today. Okay, we got white supremacists shooting up cops in Las Vegas. I mean, they're not messing around. They are just drawing down on them. We've got black folk out here squandering things, but today I saw a story that was really just heartwarming for me. I really have to tell you that. It really, really was. Now, being in my late 30s, it was, 22 years ago that Sir Mix-a-Lot released Baby Got Back. 22 years ago. You see, rap music changed everything, including the definition of what we call classic. You notice they don't refer to rap songs as classic. You notice that? Now, the Beatles and the Bee Gees, within 10 years of those songs being released, Staying Alive was called a classic. Within 10, 20 years of the Beatles releasing I Want to Hold Your Hand, those were classics. Sgt. Pepper, a classic. But when you're black and you created an art form that is specifically and totally black, you don't get those kind of terms referred to you. No. You don't get terms like classic subscribe to your efforts. Your efforts are old song, iconic, but they don't say your music is classic. You don't get that distinction. Not if you let them tell the tale. I never will forget when Aaliyah Houghton died in that plane crash, and you had a bunch of American media outlets referring to her as a burgeoning star, that she was on the verge of stardom. This girl had sold millions of albums by this time. Millions. She had sold somewhere around 7-8 million? And they were talking about she was on the verge of stardom. She had sold millions of albums. She was in the Matrix movies. Well, she was supposed to be in the Matrix movies before she died. She was in that Queen of the Damned. I mean, so you're in music and you're in movies, and for some strange reason, in white folks' eyes, you're not a star yet. What that means is that we have not made you. Don't you understand? You are never a star until they made you. You're never a star until they made you. Now, once they make you a star, now you're one. But not until they say you are. Remember, they did the same thing with Mary J. Blige. Remember that? Mary J. Blige was not considered a star until damn near 20 years later when she goes on Oprah. Oh, now you're considered a star by white folk because you went on Oprah. That's why. Jill Scott was not considered one. 20 damn years later, and they're talking about she's a star. The woman's been a star for 20 damn years. Your media is never going to consider a black person a star who is not bowing and scraping and enhancing your power. They're never going to do that. And right after they said she was a star, she's singing about crispy, fresh chicken, fresh lettuce, That's right. Remember, first they said she was a star, and then very shortly thereafter, she's singing about Damn Me Chicken. Sir Mix-a-Lot was not a one-hit wonder. The man had a bunch of hit songs. He had several platinum albums, not one. The man had several platinum albums. Several. Baby Got Back is just the one that white folk learned to dance to. The man had hit albums before. He had hit albums before that. Baby Got Back was at the tail end of Mix-a-Lot's popularity, not the beginning. But you see, white folk rewrite history. When history does not suit their purposes, white people rewrite it. They can't say that you didn't have a hit album, but that's not going to prevent them from lying and mischaracterizing what you did and saying you're a one-hit wonder. See, one-hit wonder is a term of perspective. That's not a statement of fact. It's not meant to be a factual statement. And that's why they use that term. It's not meant to be factual. It's not meant to actually articulate the events as they occurred. The purpose of calling you a one-hit wonder in the case of Sir Mix-a-Lot, when you've already had hit albums and hit songs, is for people who do not know you. You see, the people who do not know you, the young people who would come later, white folk didn't like that damn song. Why? Because that man, single-handedly, Sir Mix-a-Lot, single-handedly transformed the way that white people in America talked about their own women. A black man single-handedly redefined the way that white society talked about their own women. This was a black man who got out there and said, we reject the New York Madison Avenue homosexual pedophilic inspired vision of women because you do not conform to black male standards. This was the first time that a black man was successful in telling white society, we reject you. We reject you. You are not legitimate. Made a hit song about it. And even put it in the lyrics. Even white boys got to shout, Baby Got Back. He was letting you know this is a black man's point of view. And you are off code. You are illegitimate because I say you are illegitimate. And the world rallied and agreed with him. Oh, hell no. Don't you know we are coming after your ass now? You all don't understand. Because up until that time, they thought they were going to define what being a woman was, and a black man came using the power of rap music and did that. Today, don't you notice the difference today? You got all these black males out there party like a rock star with white girls in their videos. White girls that white men chose in their videos. Rick Ross's videos? Rick Ross does not choose the females in his videos. Go and look up the making of All I Really Want by Rick Ross. There's a 15-minute behind-the-scenes video of All I Really Want. It's on Vimeo. I don't know if it's on YouTube. It may be on YouTube. It's 15 minutes behind the scenes. And you can see them talking to Gil Green, the director, 305 Films. And Gil Green, they're down there in Colombia, and they're at this mansion in Colombia with this, I forget what the exact word of it is. It's like this Eclipse or Horizon swimming pool, something like that. Infinity pool. That's what it's called, an infinity pool. And they got all these Colombian chicks in the video. But understand, it was Gil Green and his assistant director who did the auditioning for the girls. They show it. They show the female showing up at the table for the audition, and Rick Ross ain't nowhere to be seen. Gil Green is there. Assistant director and producer are there. Rick Ross isn't even in the country yet. When Rick Ross finally does show up, Gil Green is telling Rick Ross what's gonna happen in the video and who he's gonna be with in the video. You can see him tell Rick Ross. Now, there's gonna be one girl. She's the main girl. She's from Miss Columbia, although I've never been able to confirm that. But he said the Miss Columbia representative. He said y'all to see her, man. She is just a knockout. And Rick is just sitting there nodding his head and okay, all right. They're telling Rick what he's gonna wear. They got it spread out on the table. This is what the wardrobe is. This is what you're gonna wear. This is the kind of car that we're gonna have you in for the video. At no time does Rick Ross get to make any decisions whatsoever about what's going to be happening in that video. No time whatsoever. Right down to the females in the video. At no time does Rick Ross get any decision in that. It is the white males who were hired by the record companies to make the video. They are the ones who decide who the female is going to be, who's going to be in the video. And that is what they did with Rick Ross. They sat down and they told him what was going to be the deal in the video. He didn't have any say in that. He didn't get to say anything to those people about who was going to be in that video. They paid for it. They had a white director, and he is the one who is going to determine what's going to be in the video, who's going to be in the video, what they're going to look like in the video. You don't get to do anything except sit there and nod and co-sign. That is it. This will be a video with a black face, but it will be made to European specifications, and that is exactly what they did. It will be made to European specifications when we get done, and that was exactly what they did. So if you want to know why your videos look the way that they do, and if you want to know why your videos sound the way that they sound, and if you want to know why the females in your videos now look the way that they do, this is the reason that they look the way that they do. They look that way because now white men are not going to take a chance on another Sir Mix-a-Lot coming along. And the best way to make sure that you don't have to worry about that is if you take over the process of selecting the females. Now you young folk understand. If you actually take a look at these videos and see who does the choosing, understand back in the day with EPMD and Sir Mix-a-Lot, these were guys who did their own producing. Sir Mix-a-Lot produced his own records. So did EPMD. So did Eric B. and Rakim. And when it was time to talk about videos, you had to talk to them. Ice-T, he was another one. By the way, we all know that Darlene was his woman. He didn't have a bunch of females in his videos. He had one, but it was the one that he chose. Now these young fellas are so desperate to be on TV and so desperate to be on the radio that the white men simply come to them and say, this is what you will promote, even if you don't believe this at your core. We paying you enough money, you better start. You ain't got to believe it, you just have to promote it. You don't have to actually believe any of this. You just have to go out there and promote it. That's what we are telling you to do. You just have to go out there and say it. Don't you see how insidious that is? So when Mix-a-Lot did what he did, man, they were going to make sure you didn't have another incident. That's the way they see it. They're going to make sure you don't have another incident like that one. No more incidents. No more incidents like Baby Got Back. We are not gonna have a black male make a major hit song telling us that the females will have to adhere to black specifications, to a black male's specifications. And for those of you who have not seen it, what happened was Sir Mix-a-Lot recently had a video made where it was with the Seattle Orchestra. And in the video, he sits up here and he asks the females to... He's out there, he looks out in the audience and he just asks the females to get on the stage with him. Or at least he invites a few females on the stage. Man, he ends up with like a gang of them, a score of them. I'll put the link in the chat room for everybody who wants to see it. It was on Yahoo, it was in Rolling Stone, that he gets with the Seattle Symphony. And this man is 50 years old, y'all. For those of you who don't know, Sir Mix-a-Lot is now 50 years. He's about to turn 51. It doesn't get any more classical than that. This man is about to turn 51. And even though he did not own Nasty Mix Records, even though he didn't own it outright, understand, I mean, he's making money every time he goes and performs that thing. He makes money when it's played, but more importantly, the big money, as you all know, is when they go and perform. The big money is when you're selling out shows. And this man is doing it without a major record label calling the damn tune. This is a man who is self-made and self-built. Don't you know the white corporate media is not going to talk about that? They will be damned if they're going to sit up here and promote and encourage black men being self-built. Because you're going to end up 50 years old with your own damn money. And not having to go through them. I'll be damned if I'm the white supremacist media. And they're all of one mind about that. I don't care where you go, whether it's CNN or Rolling Stone. They are all of one mind. That if they do talk about you, it will be to denigrate you. One hit wonder. Them words don't apply to Anthony Ray, aka Sir Mix-a-Lot. Those words don't apply to him. And nothing. It was a gang of white women who got on the stage dancing, by the way. Let me go ahead and play some of this for y'all right quick so that you all can hear it live. So you all can hear it here live. It was not live right now, but you all can hear it exactly the way it happened when those people were there. So I want you to listen for yourselves. Now, you won't be able to see this. I mean, because I'm not going to move this thing all the way over there in the way. I don't want it getting in the way like that. But you can go take a look at the video yourselves. I'll put the link in the chat room. And you all can hear the video for yourselves right now. Just see what it sounds like for yourselves here. And see what was happening when he was talking that night.
So what I want to do now is something you really should not do. But since tonight is orchestral movements from the hood night, I'm going to leave some of this open. If a couple of ladies would like to get up on the stage, I don't touch. All right. We will not bite unless you want us to. All right, there we go. We got a few coming. Steps over here. My conductor is like, oh my God. Okay, there we go. Okay, we got enough. Okay, you guys spread out. And we're gonna keep, Lord have mercy. Wow. All right, I learned this from Ellen DeGeneres. Seattle, are you in the house? Okay. It's the selfie from hell. Ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna try a little something you may have never heard before. And this genius back here, by the way, this man is the shiznick, trust me. Go ahead. What? I like big butts and I cannot lie. You other brothers can't deny. When a girl walks in with an itty bitty waist and a round thing in your face, you get strong. Wanna pull up tough cause you notice that butt was stuck deep in the jeans she's wearing. I'm hooked and I can't stop staring. Oh baby, I wanna get hooked up and take your picture. My homeboys tried to warn me with that butt you got me. Ooh, rubber smooth skin. You say you wanna get my bins? Well, use me, cause you ain't that average groovy. I seen her dancing, to hell with romancing. She's sweating. And I'm tired of magazines saying black butts are the thing. Check the average black man and ask him that. She gotta pack much back. Where's my fellas? Fellas! When your girlfriend got the butt, tell him to shake it. Shake it. Shake that big old butt. And baby got back. Yeah. He's smiling his ass off. I like them round and big. And when I'm throwing a gig, I just can't help myself. I'm acting like an animal. Now here's my scandal. I'm gonna get you home and double up. I ain't talking about Playboy, the silicone parts are made for toys. I want them real thick and juicy. Go find that juicy double. Mix-a-lot's in trouble, begging for a piece of that bubble. So I'm looking at rock videos, cockney bimbos walking like hoes. You can have them bimbos, I'll keep my women like Flojo. A word to the big soul sisters, I wanna get with ya. I won't cuss or hit ya, but I gotta be straight when I say I want. Till the break of dawn, baby, got it going on. A lot of Sims won't like this song, but they just like to hit it and quit it. And I'd rather stay and play, cause I'm long and I'm strong and I'm down to get the friction on. So lady, lady, you wanna roll my Mercedes? Turn around, stick it out. The whole room got to shout. Baby got back. $36, $24, $36 means nothing to me at all. Only if she's 5'3", you know what I mean? Yeah. So you.
Now, there was like 30 women on that stage, and I'm not exaggerating. There's about 30 of them. I just sat here and counted. There was about 30 of them. 30. The man's 50 years old, about to turn 51. He's put on some weight, so he has definitely been eating since then, that's for certain. He's definitely been eating good since then. I can give him that much. And don't believe anybody who sits up here and tells you it was just all a bunch of overweight women on that stage, because it wasn't. It was some big ones on there. There was a few big ones on there, but it was not a group. It wasn't just nothing but. And let me tell you, as you could tell, he was putting on a clinic on how you're supposed to do a rap show right there. There are so many dimensions to what you just heard. And for those of you who've seen the video, there are so many dimensions to what you saw. And these were mostly a bunch of young white females. I mean, there were some middle-aged ones up there and stuff, but these were a bunch of young white females. A bunch of young white females getting up on that stage. So this Negro has done come along and thinks he's gonna be the second reincarnation of Michael Jackson? Oh no! He's got the young children listening? Oh, no. See, we're the only ones who do that. We're the only ones who get to do that. So, as you all know, Baby got back. I mean, Beyonce is a damn world-class slut today. Baby got back is nothing. But it was a message to the world that we as black men, that you will start the conversation based upon what we want, not what you want. That this conversation will be based upon our specifications, not yours. Not yours. And they have, don't you know that when you beat white supremacy, and Sir Mix-a-Lot super spinning roundhouse kicked white supremacy square in its face, shattered its skull open. Don't you know that when you beat white supremacy, they never let you forget that? O.J. Simpson beat white supremacy, and they never forgot. Michael Jackson beat white supremacy, and they never forgot. Mike Tyson beat white supremacy. Muhammad Ali beat white supremacy. Jesse Owens beat white supremacy. Joe Louis beat white supremacy. And they never, ever let it go. And every single one of those black men that I just named, they hounded and hunted them to the end of their lives. Muhammad Ali, if he ever gets a speeding ticket, they're going to be all over him. As black men, when you beat white supremacy, they let you know. They let you know. Now, who in the world could in this day and age where they talk about classical music and children not having access to the arts and not appreciating, orchestral music and all these synthesizers out here, when Metallica did their No Leaf Clover, you all can go look it up. Metallica had a song called No Leaf Clover, and they did that with, I believe it was the San Francisco Philharmonic or the San Francisco Symphony, whatever they want to call themselves. That was what Metallica did. Did you have a bunch of white folk yelling and screaming and railing against Metallica for performing with a symphony? Did you have them doing that? No. You would think in this case right here, who in the world would possibly have a problem with this? Well, just go down to the comment section on Yahoo and on YouTube. Both Yahoo and YouTube. Two totally separate comment sections. And just go see some of the comments that people were leaving. See some of the things that they were saying. I mean, who in the world? This kind of thing here is what proves that white supremacy is a sickness and a disease. When you get diagnosed with white supremacitis, you have a sickness, you have an illness. You have an outright disease and a sickness when you come down with white supremacy. That makes you ill at that point. Now, these were a bunch of white women. There was only like one or two black females, and they were actually both looked pretty, very, very mixed. So they had a couple of Halle Berrys up on the stage, but everybody else was white. Everybody else was white. Now, listen to some of the comments. Simon says, "Welcome to the good old US of A. 65% white trash, 25% ghetto trash, assorted 5% assorted other trash, 5% people of sound mind and judgment, a reasonable amount of intelligence and self-esteem who have to witness a once beautiful nation go down the toilet. Yeah. Kevin said, lines have gotten really blurry in the music industry these days. You have classical, quote, mixing with rap and so-called country mixing with rap. What the hell is going on? Can't these idiots make decent music within their own type of music? Well, I suppose not. Listening to all of them on the radio, even with all their gadgets like voice fixers and so on, none of them can hold a candle to the greatest music era, 50s through the mid-80s. You all keep trying, though, and the hits from before all the little gadgets to make you sound better will still keep kicking your asses. Music that is up to 60 years old is still getting played more than today's music, if you can call it that. That's because back in the day it took talent to make music, and that is very rare quality today in the music industry. So he heard all these people say that. He heard that. And he comes back to tell you all that this is a problem. That's right. Now, these are real comments now. You want to know who has a problem with classical music for young people? You're hearing it. Michael Bradley, rap has absolutely no redeeming value. JS, I bet those same girls up there complain about being objectified. Somebody named Commenter, someone please tell me minstrels are gone. Entertaining Whitey. Some of the most uncomfortable dancing I've ever seen. Almost as bad as a flash mob. America's over. We sunk to a new low. Disgusting. Now, it's somebody named Commenter, so I don't know if these are different commenters or just the same person, but that was what they were saying. Somebody else said, this song, along with Fat Bottom Girls, helped to propel the humble hostess Twinkie into a godlike entity. Richard, hip-hop has officially jumped the shark. Doc Bill, really? Question mark. Really? Question mark. Stupid white women. It's a picture of a white male in a swimming pool with his clothes on, apparently. Well, if he's not his clothes on, he needs skin treatment. Majoritarian. Let's all hope the guilty liberals that arranged this shameful parade, let's all hope their daughters got back and are objectified by the wholesome culture that's cussing into microphones. Word. Richard, what a sad commentary upon the state of music. Ray, this was clearly rehearsed with several of the women paid. Note that on the first beat, the gal got up front in black, the nasty one. Now, for those of you who couldn't see the video, you need to see it for yourselves. There was one female in particular, she was white, and she looked like a librarian was the way she was dressed, but she was really ostentatious. You know, it's what you expect when you go to the club and you got that white girl at the club who is just really getting her attention thing on. She really wants to get attention, so she's letting you know that she's in it. White men don't have a problem with white women showing up ass naked to their clubs. You can show up at a white club dancing to whatever white music you want, and that's fine. You show up with a black man playing the Pied Piper, it is death by comment. The sentence is death by comment. So now they're saying that she was planted. She's the nasty one. She went into, quote, went into butt routine at once, but the really big-butted black women that the song is about didn't show up. If they did, the performance would have been sickening. Only in Seattle could classical music be twisted and misused. Fuji, whoever this person is, watch the whole video. The black dress looks like a damn fool the whole video. About 3/4 of the way through video, another girl tries twerking on Sir Mix-a-Lot and her friends ripped her away to prevent embarrassment. I guess black dress doesn't have any friends that care about her. Can be proof that people's definition of music is diametrically opposite from others. Personally, I like my music to have melody, and there was no melody here. RK, further sign of America's cultural reduction and female shamelessness? Question mark. Chris D, rap, hip hop, whatever it's called is horrible music, however it's played. I can go on. That's just on Yahoo, you all. I can go on. I can go on and on. That was just Yahoo, and the comments, there's thousands of them, so I mean, I can go on for a while with comments. If you really want me to, I can. Dozens of comments just like that. Does that sound familiar? Does that sound familiar to you all about the way that they talk about a certain Barack Obama? That they hate him, they hate his guts, and yet they can never actually explain to you what it is about him that they don't like. They tell you from the beginning, we don't like him. But they never actually explain to you what it is about him that they don't like. They never actually tell you what it is about him that they don't like. They just speak in these generalities. Now, this was Sir Mix-a-Lot performing with the Seattle Symphony, and yet they changed the whole conversation over to rap. The problem is rap. Rap has no redeeming values. Look at these sluts dancing to rap. They look like fools dancing to rap, to rap, to rap, to rap. Rap and country, rap and classical. Rap is the problem. Rap is the problem. Rap is the problem. Incandescent said it very well right now. I stopped reading Yahoo comments. Might as well be on Stormfront. For those of you who don't know the white supremacist website Stormfront that has had a hand in a number of murders around the country, by the way. Yeah, Yahoo's comment section and YouTube, any place that has comments freely given, is starting to resemble Stormfront. Yeah, they are starting to do just that. Any place that resembles those is starting to seem just like those places. Yes. That's exactly what they seem like now. Everything they say. So rap, understand, rap is the code word. Like for Obama, he's exotic. Without ever explaining to you what exotic is. He's exotic. He's different. Everything they can do to keep from saying he's black. But Mona, correct me if I'm wrong. Am I off base?
No, you're absolutely right. You know, the genius of Baby Got Back is the opening. When you hear the song, it's a white girl with a white voice talking about black women's behinds, saying that they look like prostitutes, saying that they're ugly, and she's gross. And then that music kicks in, and he hollers out, "I love big butts, and I can't not lie." So it's like, whoa, that was controversial. And then you go deeper into the lyrics, and he straight talked about bimbos, hoes, uh, beanpole dames. They're not Miss Thing, and he just dissed them. It was a smooth diss. And like you said, here it is 20 something years later, because I was 32 years old when this came out. And I actually didn't dance to that song, but 22 years later, he put another spin on it, and he's still going strong. And the white girls are loving it, and they've always loved that song. That was a universal song. Even though he was dissing them, they still loved it. But what I really like about how he opened up and how he covered himself, legally, when he said, "I don't touch, because you will not be having a lawsuit on me tonight."
Well, he's smart. Sir Mix-a-Lot was always one of the very smartest dudes in the game. That's why he's not broke today. How many rappers from 1989, 90, 91, 92? Sir Mix-a-Lot wasn't like Dre. He didn't go from one big corporate conglomerate to another. He was self-built, and yet he still got money. Dre done went broke twice, about to go broke a third time with more money, one of the richest black men on the planet, and he's about to go broke a third time. Mark my words. And Sir Mix-a-Lot defied every convention. He was like Madam C.J. Walker. He was a black person who got so much power, fame, and wealth that you could not destroy him. And these comment sections show you how mad with rage, how insane with rage that white supremacist society is. They are just seething and fuming and flooding with it. And what they want to say is, this is what the niggers did to our music. How dare this nigger sit up here and tell us that our women have to conform to his specifications. You see, Mix-a-Lot's sin was that, amazingly enough, he was sticking up for black women, and white women took that song as empowerment for them and brought it back to white men and said, we're not going to take it anymore. That was the amazing part. That was the amazing part of what Mix-a-Lot did. And now he's got a new iteration of that song that he can go make more money off of.
Right.
The video is viral. I mean, their worst nightmare come to life. A black man with a gang of white women singing his song, thumbing their noses at the white supremacist structure. That's the amazing part.
On display, shaking their behinds. Yeah, they don't like that. They don't like that at all.
Because these are white women behaving in a manner where white supremacy does not call the tune.
Right.
That is the sin that they committed. You let a black man walk in here, tell you what it means to be a white woman. That is a capital offense, Mona. They don't understand that that is a capital offense. The sentence is death. Death. And when they look up, and this video's got 1 million views already, and you cannot stop him and you cannot keep him down. Wow.
So they had to explain it by saying that these women were fat. I read one comment on, I think it was YouTube, that said, fat monkey see monkey do's, and that, you know, we need to respect boundaries, and this is very disrespectful and tasteless. And everything was wild, fat Americans, you know, fat white women in America.
Now, do they go in like this on Miley Cyrus?
No.
Iggy Azalea? Katy Perry? Is it the end of America with them? Sir Mix-a-Lot, 51 years old. The song is 22 years old. It's not like it's new. What is so objectionable about this song? So you all, it wasn't bootylicious. When Beyonce said bootylicious, that wasn't a problem. They didn't get animated about that. But she was brought to them by their white corporate masters. That's what happened. This man? No. He came on his own. He came on his own, and that's why they hate him. How dare you? How dare you walk in here and directly, full frontal assault, confront white supremacy? Don't you all know if they could walk on that stage and lynch him, they'd be doing it? The sentence is death.
I'm sorry. Do you think it also turned the white man's beauty standards kind of against their white women, that then once they heard that song, they kind of demanded that white girls, you know, eat a little bit more, get a little more hips, because white girls, when they think hips are super, super fat, they don't want any hips. So once that song came out, do you think that the white, you know, men were like, you need to eat, you need to, you know, get some hips?
When they started ingesting our musical culture, everything else came with it.
Yeah.
And that is why they've been trying to hijack it ever since. So they can direct it and decide where it goes. But when our musical culture, and this is why I made the point about this is our cultural legacy, our music is part of our cultural legacy. That's why you can't surrender it. They have been trying to take over rap ever since because of Public Enemy and Sir Mix-a-Lot. They saw the effect it had on white kids. Baby Got Back changed the way that white women thought about themselves. That rap music communicated to them our standard. As far as white men are concerned, that was mind control. That was voodoo. Their worst fears about rap had come to pass. That eventually this will transform into power for black men. And power leads to what? Wealth. And wealth and power together equal what? Influence. Rap represented power. And Mix-a-Lot was their worst nightmare come to life, that this man could change the chemistry and the makeup of your family inside your house. That your daughter will not listen to you When it is time for her to determine her physical identity, she will be listening to a black man. Now, I've always told you all, I don't date a certain way. Why? Because I want children who look like me. No man wants his child looking like someone else's. No man wants that. And when we told them that their daughters could look like ours, first, your daughter got some rump on her. Next, she's putting her hair in cornrows again. It's not Bo Derek. Go watch MMA. The white females in mixed, actually everybody except the black females in mixed martial arts, they all got their hair in braids, all of them, when they go fight. Every single one. Every single one with their hair braided like black women. So first she got the rear end, now she got the thighs, now she's got the hair. Don't you know white supremacy is furious? And then you wonder why we're seeing this uptick. And I've been trying to tell people for decades. Brothers and sisters, this is not a fluke. It's not. You tell yourself that if you want to believe that. This is not a fluke. Let's open up the phone lines here. Caller from 330. You're on live with the Black Channel.
Black First, this is Dave from 330. How you doing this evening?
What's on your mind, brother?
A couple things. It's a timely discussion what you're having today because I was looking, actually, I found somebody who had never seen Cadillac Records, and I was looking through the movie, and I took some notes on a few things I've seen, because if you watch the video closely, you realize most of those black men in that movie at the end ended up with a sizable amount of money. So I was doing a wealth analysis based on what was presented in the movie. And what you're touching on, I want to add somebody who did exactly what Sir Mix-a-Lot did about 50 years ago. His name was Chuck Berry.
Yes, indeed.
If you watch the movie carefully.
Go ahead, brother. Go ahead and tell him.
If you watch the movie carefully, you will notice that I was watching closely because he stuck with me because of he was able to, if you watch the movie, it says he built $100,000 up by the end of his first year. If you take that to inflation, you're in one, maybe the tens of millions of dollars he had in his first year in excess capital. If you take it to today's terms and numbers, I said, now wait a minute. He had a wealth formula. So I studied the movie a little bit, him, just to get an idea what he was doing. And get on track a little bit, but he saved everything that he had minus one exuberant thing, which was the Cadillac or the car he was given. Everything else, he was on the cheap. He didn't spend cars, clothes and holes, as we call it. The car was given to him. The clothes, he was doing basically Goodwill thing. And because he was focused on his business, which was music, and he was totally focused on doing what he knew he wanted to do and perfecting his technique, the women came and swooned. He would sleep in his car. Watch the movie. He slept in his car, and they came to his car and gave him some in his backseat of his car. Back in the 50s. He went to jail, not once, but 3 times. And he tells people to this day, because he's still alive, that was trumped up. That was Sir Mix-a-Lot 50 years ago.
Sir Mix-a-Lot. There was Chuck Berry. There was James Brown. Marvin Gaye. Black men. Did you know, most of y'all don't know, James Brown was one of the early smart ones. James Brown owned most of his music collection. And when he died, that music collection belongs to them. Belongs to his family.
Yeah, let's not forget about Ray Charles also. He owned his music collection.
For the black men who actually own their music, they want to make sure that they fixed your wagon. They want to make sure of that because they understood that from that comes wealth. That breeds wealth. What you own, what you control, and can you pass it down? That's wealth. Michael Jackson, as much as a man in his position could own what he had. Oh no, they're after your ass. There were a few smart brothers in there. Solar Records. There's a few of them in there. The Isley Brothers. White folk have never referred to the Isleys as classic or iconic. Have you all known that? Ronald Isley is the only, if I'm not mistaken about this, Ronald Isley is the only person in music to have a hit song from all of the past, I think it's 5 or 6 decades. He has had a hit song in each one of the last 5 decades. He has had a hit song every decade of the last 5. Every decade. And he's the only one who can say that. And yet white folk don't refer to him as a star. They don't refer to him at all. You would think that Ronald Isley was only selling 50,000 copies.
Right.
If you let them, from the way that they ignore him, you think this man is out there doing nothing. You would think he's living on life support. You think this man was broke, living in the back of a Buick. I'm sitting here in Shreveport, and they just built a couple years ago, they put up a new casino here, Margaritaville, owned by Jimmy Buffett. And Jimmy Buffett made a whole bunch of money and a whole bunch of good investments since he made that stupid song. I'm sorry, the song is just puts me to sleep. If you're a fan, don't mean to offend you, I don't get anything out of it. But he's a hell of a businessman, I can tell you that. A hell of a businessman. That's not no little hotel they got over there. It's not fancy, but it's not some 3-level thing. Now that's what Jimmy did after his one-hit wonder. Ronald Isley has been lapping Jimmy Buffett, but you would never know it. They talk about Alice Cooper, icon. James Taylor, classic icon. Why don't they talk about Charlie Wilson and Ronald Isley the same way? Because those are not their heroes. And they are not going to look at black men. As a black man, they may not be able to stop you, but they damn sure ain't gonna help you. I might not be able to derail your black ass, but I don't have to sit here and lay down new track for you. I don't have to do that. As black men, this is why I want you all to understand power, wealth, and influence. Now, brother, I want you to think about this for a moment. And I want your thoughts on this. When you compare Mix-a-Lot to what you got on the radio now, Lil Wayne, the rest of his ilk, and consider the fact that at looking at their videos, you might as well have had 3 white men just in the video. Who was it? Was it Soulja Slim? I think it was. Who was mocking dark butts? Was that Soulja Slim? I forget who it was. It was some rapper, and he was marking. He said he didn't like dark-skinned black females. He didn't like dark butts. That was what he said. Don't you know that that's a man that can get a record deal? Don't you know that? Don't you know that that's the kind of guy that Leor Cohen and his monkey puppets, Steve Stout and L.A. Reid and their kind, don't you know that that's the kind of guy that they eagerly want to give a record deal to? Somebody who hates Africanness and worships Europeans as much as they do. Okay, everybody's talking about Young Bird. Which I guess his name is Young Bird. Go ahead, brother.
I'm sorry for interrupting. Can we just blow the lid off here and just go real deep on it? Okay. Me and you are only a few years separated. So I'm going to go to the 90s, a decade that I know very well musically. Now, they'll talk about Dre, they'll talk about Snoop, they won't even bring up Warren G, because Warren G's where actually where Dre and Snoop could have came from, but they won't even tell you that much. I mean, Dre even screwed up Warren G, but that's another story. Remember back about 93, 94, you in the South, so you would definitely know this one. There was a certain group of guys out of the New Orleans projects who could not get a record company to sign them, so they would go with a bunch of other guys from Tennessee, Memphis with some guys. There were some guys on the other side of Texas, down in the South, before the crunk movement started, and they put their own tapes out. They went to these press and roll distributors and said, here's enough money to get 5,000 copies. Let's get them. They went to all the black little 5 and down little stores and said, put our tapes in there. We ain't putting them nowhere else. And now, and then 10 years later, you had a guy named Percy Miller looking at trying to get minority interest in a TV station. They didn't like him either.
If you are a black man who owns something, they're watching. And when it was time for Master P to make his record deal, the deal was lopsided in his favor. He got to sit and basically craft his own deal, and that's why y'all couldn't break him. He went in knowing that this is going to end, so I'm going to grab all the money while it's here. You're not going to sit up here and mess me over. He went in ready. And they don't want black men who go in ready. They want black men who desire fame, not black men who desire power and wealth. You notice that what I gave you all was that it was power, wealth, and influence. Power, wealth, and influence. That's what it was. I didn't say power, fame, and wealth. I didn't say that. I said power, wealth, and influence. Power, wealth, and influence. They want black men who want something other than that. Do you want fame? Do you want girls? Do you want drugs? Do you want a shiny car? Did you notice? All those things are the products of power, wealth, and influence. But I can give you those things without ever giving you power, wealth, and influence. When you come in the door, they want to know that you're willing to give it all up when you walk in. They want to know if you're going to give it all up when you walk in. That's the goal. That's what they want to find out. Can we get you to leave it all here from the moment you come in? Now, if you will, we are going to get along fine. But if you're not, we're not going to help you. We're not going to help you. Now, in this day and age when music is so easy to make, Why is it that more of these young black men are not building themselves? They've seen Kendrick, they've seen Soulja Boy, and yet they're not doing that. Even those guys, they wanted to get a major record deal. What is it about the major record deal? What is it about that you think they're after?
Every video that comes out now has one of those three elements we talked about so much before, which is cars, clothes, and hoes. That's all they flash in the videos. Most of these videos don't have a story to them anymore. Now, Jason, think back to when me and you was coming up, even in the 90s, even when they started putting the gangster stuff out there. Most of it had stories to it. The words actually had a message in them, and the video was built off the message it was trying to reflect. Now videos are like spots that different advertisers can buy to put their product out there so that the urban culture can say, I really want that. I really want that. What nobody in the hood checking for no Bentleys before Birdman and the rest of them put them in videos? We didn't know what a Bentley was. We thought the baddest thing out there was a Mercedes, a Turtle Eye 250 or 500 SEL. We ain't know about no Bentley. We ain't know about no Maybach before Eminem and the rest and Dre and them start putting them in their videos. They make more. They probably make a gang of money just on the advertising revenue they get back from the videos because the videos don't really say nothing. There's no message there. They can't sit there and put a story in the video because it don't fit. Now, Jason and Mona and me can tell you about back in the late 80s. We can tell you about Public Enemy and X-Clan. Now, and when BDP first came out, we can tell you about rap that had a message that was supposed to change your head around. They didn't like that either.
They want to know if you're interested in something other than power, wealth, and influence. They spent their entire time wanting to discuss everything except that. Everything.
Do you think when they look around and they study African Americans in the music industry that they know that our values are so low that they can even come to a man and suggest this is how you get power, wealth, and influence by having, a big car and a nice car and a big house and all the gold and, do you think they market it towards that? In opposed to, do you think they have a different conversation for white people in opposed to black people in helping them, hold on to their money?
For these young men, they do not want them holding on to any money at all. They want you to leave it all right there. Because I put up an article today about non-competes.
Right.
And these people don't want a situation where you're walking away from the table prepared to compete. Their worst nightmare is that there will be a group of black men who will stop jigabooning and actually start building their own thing from the ground up. Damon Dash ain't gonna do it. Damon Dash is not going to do it at all. These other folk are not going to do that. They're not interested. Damon Dash is using his money to chase cars, clothes, and hoes. Jay-Z just wants to be part of the system. He does not want to challenge it. He wants to be a part of it. It would not take that much to put together an infrastructure that would challenge those people. If you had $5 million, you could do it. But these guys are not going to do that. They talk about Beats by Dre. I want you all to think about something. If Dre, Birdman, and P. Diddy all got together and said, We are going to start our own online music service. What would happen? Now, let me explain to you what I mean. Yes, there are a lot of music services out there, but what makes Beats so special? Beats is special because it's made to Dre's audio specifications. Beats are basically studio speakers made for the rest of y'all. They're basically studio headphones made for the rest of you. Made to be more stylish and whatnot. But they're basically studio headphones made for the rest of the world. That's all. Now,
would you say it has more bass in it?
I mean, whatever you think. My point is that it's studio headphones made for the rest of us. They are made to Dre's specifications.
Right.
Now, what if you had an online streaming service where Dre, Birdman, and P. Diddy say, this is the latest, hottest music from the artists that we've chosen. Not the corporation, but the artists that we have chosen. Imagine an outlet like that so that we could boost off young fellas like Kendrick Lamar, like Nipsey Hussle. Don't have to go through the major record labels anymore. That some black men got together and said, you know what? The music will start with us now. If Dre supposedly got $1 billion, people, it doesn't cost $1 billion to start a music company. It doesn't. It doesn't. There are no more excuses. These guys are not doing it because they serve at the altar of the beast. And their goal is to make sure that it stays that way. Their goal is to make sure it stays that way. So, and why did I name those three? Dre from the West Coast, Birdman from the South, P. Diddy from the North. So we make sure that we got all the bases covered. Everybody's covered. The whole country is covered. Why would you not be here? Why would you not be a part of that? Why would you not be doing it?
I think.
I'm sorry, Ms. Mona, go right ahead.
I'm sorry. I think that they need the white man's validation. They need their daddy's, okay, their daddy's pat on the back. Good job. Because you're absolutely correct. It can be done. But if they don't get the validation from the white man, like a lapdog, they don't have any idea what to do. They don't think it's possible. There's no intelligence there. There's no, I'm tired of this. We can do this. They don't have that type of vocabulary. They think everything that they've gotten, their talents that they, took time to create and learn the necessary skills, they think that the white man gave that to them. And the white man allows them to display that talent.
I'm asking myself here, because you've got Dre listening to Jimmy Iovine 20-something years later. Listening to Jimmy Iovine. Why is Jimmy Iovine even still part of the equation, Dre? Are you unable to eat breakfast? Or to take a shower without Jimmy Iovine in your life? Why did he need Jimmy Iovine to go into beats with him? What did Jimmy Iovine give him that he didn't already have? Oh yeah, money. Because Dre didn't have any again. And he's showing y'all with this Beats deal that he's going to be broke for the third time. He is a guy who comes up with ideas, good ideas. But the only people he can build wealth for is everyone but himself. Isn't that a great situation for white supremacy? This is a black man who he's going to make all this money for y'all, and he will not ask anything or keep a dime for himself.
And how strange was it that they had him on the air saying, "What time do I show up for work?" He's an employee now? Or was he always an employee?
Dre has always been an employee. Dr. Dre has never owned anything.
Yeah.
And even now with him talking about $1 billion, Beats, baby, $1 billion. And he's not talking about owning anything now. Oh, well, sorry. He wants to own quarterback Tom Brady's old house.
Yeah, he just went on.
Now, that he does want to own. Sorry, I missed one in there. He does want to own that.
TBA, can I offer a thought here? Okay, now Dre, Snoop, Suge, the whole Death Row crew all came out with this image of we the baddest gangsters in the city, we killers, we thugs, we drug dealers. But the dope dealers I knew when I was coming up, when they got their hands on some money, didn't they buy car washes and laundromats? Didn't they own something? Didn't they buy 4 or 5 houses and put different people in them and have their name on them? Didn't they own things?
Yeah, well, I mean, like the Nicky Barnes and the Frank Lucases, you know, them guys. But the ones who came after them, no. The ones who came after them, nah, man. It's all about this emotional ego trip. Everything that they did, and everything that they do in life is about an ego trip for them. And that's all. Everything is about that. Everything. And Dre is just exhibiting that now. Dre's just exhibiting it. And that's why they approve of him. Now, I want to make sure of a couple of things here, because I just want to make sure here. Moni, your Ustream is working for you, isn't it? Or is she still there?
It cut off earlier, but it came back on, so I'm still on.
Okay, just wanted to make sure you're there now. Don't fall asleep on me.
I'm not asleep.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure it's still working for you. I mean, it may have cut off earlier. I'm not sure about that. I have to check, but I never lost connectivity, so I just wanted to make sure. I'm thinking there's some connections out there or something. I'm not sure, because I got some folk are telling me that theirs is fine, and other folk are telling me that they were having issues. So I'm not really sure what's going on with that. But you're saying that yours is working all right now?
Yes.
Okay. Well, if it does go off again, just let me know. I'll see if I can check on it. It shouldn't still be having any problems, though. But
Okay.
They put up the link in the chat room for it, but it shouldn't still be doing that. I don't know what's going on with that, except, like I said, because I haven't lost connectivity or anything. But I had some folks talking about they can hear, but they can't. They can see it, but they can't hear it, and stuff like that. So I'm not really sure where that's coming from. But I haven't lost connectivity on my end. But if it happens again, just let me know so I can take a look at it, because it's not showing me that it's losing anything.
Okay.
But if you're going to do these things, I can understand if you're getting something out of it, but you got folk who are sitting up here doing stuff and getting nothing. They're not getting anything out of it whatsoever. Nothing. And the problem that they have with Sir Mix-a-Lot today, 22 years later, how can you have this much venom and vitriol towards him, and you all ain't got no problem with Beyonce talking about I'm drunk in love, I get down on my knees, F this. Rihanna, y'all just love her to death. All these high yellow black females, they just love them to death. Why is that? You don't have any problem with them being as explicit and salacious as humanly possible. That doesn't offend you. A black man saying some rather innocuous lyrics, nothing compared to your Britney Spears or Katy Perry, nothing compared to them, and yet you aren't going after them this viciously. Why? What did this black man do that has you so angry with him? He's a black man who essentially has the basic building blocks. No, he's not a billionaire. No, he's not worth hundreds of millions. But he has the basic tool set that you need to acquire power, wealth, and influence. He showed you that he's got more power over your women than you do. And that is a capital offense. And I hope that young black men out there are paying attention. I hope they're paying attention, and I hope they're getting it. It is very, very important that you understand this and that you get it. Because everything is going to depend on that. Everything is going to depend on your ability to understand this. Whether you survive in the 21st century and whether you survive the 21st century period. Well, if we as a people survive the 21st century, it's going to be dependent upon our mastering that. That we do not continue to... We, as black men, don't you know that most black men would have been happy to have all of them women dancing on stage just so they can choose which one they have sex with? No money involved. No money changing hands. Black men have shown people that they will work and toil and give away every valuable possession that they have for attention. We give up everything we've got just so somebody can give us a pat on the head. And if you're able to avoid that, if you're able to do the right things, if you walk in the door knowing how you're going to walk out, that's one thing. But they don't look for black men like that. They look for black men with troubled pasts. They look for black men who have already demonstrated that they are not smart with money. Is this thing on? They look and they target and they specifically recruit black males who have clearly already demonstrated that they have no business sense, no financial savvy, and no good track record with money. Think of it as a non-compete clause without actually having to sign one. They get somebody who is less intelligent, less knowledgeable, and less business savvy than they are. Far less. Actually, no, not just far less. They look for black men who have demonstrated that they don't really have any desire to challenge you on that level, in that way. Now, if you try to pick up a microphone or chase hoes, they'll challenge you there. But they will not, they have expressed no interest for challenging anybody for power, wealth, and influence.
Do you think that Sir Mix-a-Lot was the type of man that he did not allow white supremacy, to tell him what they were going to do for him. He said, this is what I'm going to do for myself. So he defined himself, and he, created his own destiny in spite of white supremacy.
TBA, can I respond to that?
Sure.
Okay. I see the same thing Chuck Berry did. Okay, you had Dre, you had Snoop, you had Cube did it, but Cube was a little different because he was militant at one point, so he knew how to keep some of the stuff to himself. But you saw Ice-T do it, all them. You see the Queen Latifah do it now. Q-Tip did it. They all ran to movies and said, we're going to do movies because that's the next big thing. Chuck Berry knew what he was good at and stuck with it. And he knew what he stuck with and kept refining what he did, he'd be all right. And the confirmation of that is when the Beach Boys dropped, I think it was Surfing USA, which had the same melody with one extra note. And he went to court with a lawyer and won it. When you pick something that you're good at and you say, I'm going to do this, you stick with that, you perfect that, and you master it. You don't go jumping around all over like it's checkers. This is chess. You stay in your path and you stick on it, and you get better at it, you get deeper on it, and you keep working it out. As long as you continue to grow in your money and grow in your skill, keep hammering it out. Sir Mix-a-Lot wasn't trying to jump and get a TV show. People thought he faded off. He didn't fade off. He kept doing underground records.
Exactly. I think that's kind of what's missing with African American men today. That tenacity, that this is mine, and you're not going to take this from me, and that willpower to keep going, that willpower to keep branding themselves, that willpower to knock down obstacles and keep going and get bigger and bigger. You're mentioning Chuck Berry, but I want to go back to Ray Charles. When he went to do that record deal and he said he wanted to own his own masters, they said that's a deal like Frank Sinatra. And he was like, so? And I can't remember right offhand how many children he had, whether it was 10 or 11 when he left this earth. Each one of his children got $1 million. So he was not playing with the game or the white man.
Now, you all have to understand how music works. After the Supreme Court rulings and Rodgers and Hammerstein and so on and so forth, music is basically divided up into two parts: composition and performance. Those are the two derivatives that determine ownership. Now, hopefully you can do all of it, but usually you can't. And the courts have basically upheld that the producers of a song, basically that constitutes composition. In other words, like they're musicians. It constitutes composition. So producers have to get paid along with musicians, along with the person who wrote the song. So Dr. Dre, as a producer, gets paid for Eminem songs that he produces and does the instrumentals for. Eminem gets paid for writing it, assuming he does. He's starting to get the idea now. So the money is getting split like that. When you get into publishing, that's another part of the ownership process. Now, the publishing is usually owned by the record label. Usually. Not always, but usually. It's owned by the record label itself. The masters, in a lot of cases, are owned by either the producers or whoever wrote the song. Nowadays, people are getting their masters. Although the record label could also have both publishing, co-publishing rights and masters. And that's if you own those things, the more of those things you own, the more money you keep. the more money you keep. So I want you all to understand that when we're talking about owning your masters and your publishing, that is when other people want to come license your music. Those are the two things that they have to get permission of. They have to get permission from the owners of the masters, and they have to get permission from the owners of the publishing. You have to get the publishing rights and the masters rights before you can license a song for use. Most black men do not even know that going in. Tell me, how can you protect a right that you don't even know you have? You are a young black male sitting around the table with a bunch of white men. You do not understand what publishing is. You think publishing is a printing press. And you don't truly understand what the masters are. You don't truly understand that either. But you're going to sign this contract. And because the sentence that they used for you ended with million, you were like, that's it, I've hit the big time. And you don't actually understand what it is they're telling you. You don't really get it. People, how do you protect a right that you don't even know you have? Because you knew how to make gals at the club and blondes at the club shake their asses. You knew how to do that. But what you did not tell all them pretty redheads and blondes at the club who you were so enamored with because I didn't know a black man could make blonde women dance. We've been doing it since the Moors. Hell, since the Egyptians. But you think you've invented coffee. You're so starstruck over that you ain't telling them, by the way, I have no idea what recording or masters are. I have no idea what it is. None. None whatsoever. I do not know what it is. How do I protect myself with a tool that I don't even know I possess? This thing is very valuable, but you don't even know that you have it. Now, the people that you're sitting down at the table with, they do know. They just want you to sign over one or the other. That's all. And if you do take a piece of it, they want to make it seem like they're doing you a favor. Everything that they try to do, they try to get these young folk in there, and they try to make them believe that they are doing you a favor just by letting you in the damn room. That they are doing you a worldwide charity just by letting you sit in the room to talk with them about your own music. Now, we got a group of young black men who've had a chance to talk to older cats like DJ Quick. Nipsey Hussle and them fellas, they've gotten to talk to some dudes with their heads on straight who understand the business. DJ Quick is the biggest producer in rap today, y'all. Not Dre. Oh, you all didn't know that because you haven't been keeping count. DJ Quick today is the biggest hip-hop producer today. Go ahead, argue with me if you want to. You're an idiot. Go look it up. I'm not saying it because I'm bored. DJ Quick is running the yard today. And these young black men are actually getting some sense because the old timers got screwed over. Not enough of them are, but I want them to take it to the next level. EPMD put out their own stuff. If you can get, I want y'all to do a little bit of math with me right quick. Mona 330, I want y'all to do a little math with me right quick, if you will. let's just say that you are Nipsey Hussle, okay? Let's just say you're him. And let's just say that online you have a following of, let's be modest here, okay? 150,000 followers. How's that? 150,000 followers. Now, let's just say that of that 150,000 followers, you are able to get a conversion rate. By conversion, I mean that you are able to convert 20% of those people into buyers of your album. Let's say you can do that, okay? Now, 20% of 150,000, that'd be 30,000. Okay? Now, let's just say that you sell your album for $10 a piece. Just 10. That's $300,000. Oh yeah, and it's all yours. And you own your masters. And you own your publishing. You own all the profits and your masters and your publishing. No fighting with Jimmy Iovine and their slave deals. None of this damn Hollywood accounting where they give you an advance and then tell you that $1 million advance is worth $20 million to their in equity to their company. So you got $1 million, and then they're telling you that we have to make $40 million before you can get another $1 million. Let me tell you, if you got $300,000, please explain to me why you're complaining. What are you complaining about? Well, because Rick Ross is on MTV. Rick Ross ain't got money like that, y'all. Can we just be honest? Y'all, I mean, I told you, go look up All I Really Want. You're sitting there with them telling him that we came to Columbia. Oh yeah, one more thing. I want you all to see that video. Google it for yourselves. Behind the scenes, Rick Ross, All I Really Want. You're looking for a 15-minute video. There's one. I know for certain it's on Vimeo. I don't know for certain if it's on YouTube, but I want you to look up the 15-minute one on Vimeo. And in it, when Gil Green is explaining to him about the wardrobe and the girls, he also explains to Rick about the shooting time. He also explains to Rick Ross about the shooting time. There's a reason why I'm repeating that. He explains to Rick Ross about the shooting time because he wants Rick Ross. He tells Rick Ross that, but we have to make sure that we're done by 12 noon the next day because we have to be out of the house by 12 noon. That's what he said. He tells Rick Ross in the meeting with all these other white folks standing around the table, but we have to be out of the house by 12 noon. These young black men are chasing rented houses that were rented for one day. They are chasing rented Lamborghinis. Anybody can drive a Lamb. Hell, there's places in Dallas that will rent you a Lamborghini for $1,500 a day. Anybody can drive a Lamborghini if you're only going to be driving it for one day. They got these young men chasing phantoms. They got these young men chasing smoke screens. Now, Mona, I want to make sure that is your Ustream still all right? I want you to see if you can check on that for me right quick. Because I got a couple of people saying that they're having issues. I want you to tell me if yours is okay.
Yeah, I'm still going strong.
Okay, so you're still able to hear us and see us?
Yes.
Okay, well, I'm not sure what's going on with some of these other folk out here, because I'm seeing some people saying that they're having problems, but I don't know. I'm not really sure what to think, if they're having issues or whatnot, because that's kind of weird. Let me bring caller from 617 in. You're on the line with the Black Channel.
Yeah, hello?
Yes, you're on with the Black Channel.
I know. Do you remember me? This is Raheem Smith, who called about how do you make your own business?
Yeah, you did, and then you kind of hung up the phone and you got abducted. Are you playing on my phone tonight?
No.
Okay, then you better make sure that you don't get hung up again, because if you do, you won't be back, okay?
Okay.
All right. So, how old are you?
I'm 10 years old.
10 years old. And what city are you in?
Chelsea, Massachusetts.
Okay, Chelsea, Massachusetts. And what did you have on your mind?
How do you make your own business?
Okay. Understand something. The words "have your own business," all that really does is that describes what you are doing. There is no one business you can open. If you can make money off of it, you have a business. It doesn't matter if it's snow cones, break dancing, selling flower petals on the street corner. If you are able to own it, control it, and make money off of it, that is a business. Simple as that.
Oh.
There is no one kind of business. You don't have to have a store to have a business. You don't have to have a website, though it helps. So when you say, how do you start your own business? My only question to you is, what do you like to do? Figure out what it is you like to do, and then you convert that into a business.
What I like to do is to play basketball. I don't know what to sell.
Okay, well, here's the thing. If you can't figure out how to make money at it, it's not going to work. So, basketball is a nice thing. I don't have a problem with it per se. But if you're telling me I want to play basketball, okay, is anybody offering to pay you for playing that?
No.
Okay, well, let's try the other side of it. In business, you don't wait for people to give you opportunities. You figure out how you can change it into an opportunity for yourself. All right?
Yes.
So, if you can play basketball, how good are you at it?
I'm very good, proficient.
Okay. Have you ever recorded yourself playing?
Not really.
Why not?
I don't know why.
Okay, let's overcome a couple of issues here. Everybody thinks that they are good at something, okay? Everybody thinks that when they're good at something that they're the best in the world. The problem is that very often we might think that we're very great at something, but other people might think that we're just average. Or maybe you're better at it than me, but you're not so good at it that I would pay money to see it. You see what I mean?
Yes.
So the first thing that you need to do is you need to get other people's idea of how good you are at this. Not yours. Other people. And find out what they say. And let me start off by telling you, do not go to your family or your friends to find out this information. They are more likely to be optimistic with you. They're more likely to tell you what you want to hear. You want somebody who is not emotionally attached to you, who is not afraid of hurting your feelings, because your customers don't give a damn about hurting your feelings. They are not going to pay you money if they're not happy with what they're seeing. So they're not going to try to spare your feelings. They're going to hurt your feelings. So you need to talk to some other people first and get their opinion of how good you really are. Then from there you can do that. Now, just to give you an idea, if I was 10 years old and I wanted to convert my basketball playing into a business, the first thing I would say is that, can you do any backflips?
No.
Can you do any somersaults?
No.
Can you do any tricks off of a trampoline?
Yes.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So you're able to jump on the trampoline, flip 3 times in the air, and slam dunk the ball?
Yeah, I can do that.
Oh, really? Well, here's what I want you to do. You're 10 years old. You need to get somebody with a cell phone so that they can record you doing that. And then go to YouTube.
Okay, well, I have to create an account, though.
Well, that takes about 5 minutes. Actually, it takes about 2 minutes. So that's not a big issue. But if you're really able to do something like that, that's the next thing you do. If I were 10 years old, that's what I would do. Now, once you actually have some popularity about yourself, you need to have a catchy name and start merchandising yourself.
Well, they call me Ziggy for short.
Okay. You said Nagy?
Ziggy with a Z.
Oh, Ziggy. That's kind of common.
Yeah.
You might want to come up with something else. But, or at least you may want to add something to that, not just Ziggy. There's a lot of Ziggies out there. Now, next thing you do is you want to merchandise yourself. By that, we mean merchandise. Merchandise like t-shirts, baseball caps, videos that you can sell, DVDs, stuff like that. Have you ever watched the NBA slam dunk offs?
Yes, I have.
Okay. I would be studying those. I would be studying every single basketball video that I could find.
Okay.
Now, let me find out a couple of things here first. Because how did you find me?
Well, I found the channel online, so I decided to call.
Okay, so your folks didn't have you call me?
Yes.
Say again?
Yes.
Oh, they told you to give me a call?
Yes.
Okay. Well, I'm kind of wondering why your folks aren't on the phone with you either, by the way. They need to be here. They need to be here listening as well as you are here, because you're only 10 years old, and black folk have a very, very bad habit of asking children to figure out the world. Where are your folks at, Zahin?
Well, my mom, Daisy, she can't talk right now.
Sure she can. Let her know that I want to help you get your business off the ground, and I'd like to speak with her.
Okay.
Just put the phone down real quick and just go tell her.
I'd like to speak with you.
Don't be shy.
She wants to speak with you.
Hello?
Black Fur Sister.
Hello?
Hi. So,
Hi.
you're Zain's mother?
Yeah.
That is good. Well, the young man wants to know about starting a business. So I'm going to see what we can do to help him out. But we're going to need something from you first.
What?
Do you really want to see him do this?
Well, he's only 10, so... Yeah, whatever can get him started.
I know a 9-year-old who's got his own cookie business. I put up a video about it. Age is not the most important thing. We need to start with our children young. So I think that's a very good thing, that he's interested in doing that. Now, ordinarily, people would tell me to discourage him from wanting to go into something like basketball or sports. They figure we got enough black males running around playing basketball and sports. However, at 10 years old, I'm willing to indulge it a bit. But there's something he's going to need from you first. Do you have a camera?
Yep.
Okay, I was about to ask you, do you have one or can you get one? Now, the young man says that he feels he is rather gifted at playing basketball. However, there's a difference between he thinks he can play basketball and other people think that he plays it so well that they are willing to part with their money to see it. So
someone sponsors. Well, people be asking to sponsor him. Like somebody wants to sponsor him for $600 for a basketball like camp or something like that.
Well, you know what? That's fine, but I'm wondering, what do they have their eyes on? Do they have their eyes on him as an NBA prospect, or do they have their eyes on him as being able to generate his own income doing it now? Because $600 sounds...
I don't know about either.
Okay,
let
me explain.
I don't know about either one. I just know that they teach him the basic fundamentals. That's what I would want him to learn, just the basic fundamentals of the game. Because he don't really, he still has to go through school and stuff like that. So.
Okay, but here's the thing, okay? Don't worry about school right now, okay? School takes care of itself. He sounds like he can read and write at this point, so... and if you can't, you failed as a parent, so I'm pretty hoping that that's not the case. I'm assuming he can read and write and count.
I was supposed to answer that?
Yeah. I'm saying I'm assuming
that's not the case. He's fine.
Okay, so he is able to read, write, and count at this point.
He is.
Okay, and he's not doing advanced trigonometry, but I expect when I put in front of him 10 plus 10, he can tell me 20.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, first of all, understand something. I don't operate in the business of entertainment. I don't operate in the business of potential. When someone asks me about a business, the first thing I say is I'm like Tom Cruise. I'm like Cuba Gooding Jr. Show me the money. I cut straight to the chase. I don't care if he is 9 years old or 90 years old. Cut to the chase. Where's the dollars? So what do I have to do to get a 10-year-old making money? You are correct in that you want him to have the fundamentals. Let me get you to go to a little bit of a quieter room because that background noise is kind of overpowering you.
Okay.
The fact that he's young is not what matters. The fact is, how marketable is he? Playing basketball is a nominal skill. So what can he do to become extraordinary at it to the point that people are willing to pay him? Right now in the world, there are only 3 types of basketball players that get paid for their services. Number 1, the NBA, or professional basketball league. Number 2 is basically gymnastics. The guys with the trampolines and the mats, and they're doing the flip shots and jumping over cars and all that stuff. The third kind are barnstormers. Now, you sound like you got a Boston accent there. You come from the Northeast, so you're familiar with the Harlem Globetrotters. Those are called barnstorming teams. They have a type of basketball exhibition is what they do. So he would have to master one of those 3 before he's got something that people are willing to pay for. The good news is he can do it. But the other news is, how dedicated are you to seeing to it that he can?
I'm dedicated.
Okay. Then my suggestion to you is going to be that you need to go and buy every single Harlem Globetrotters DVD you can. You need to go and get every NBA slam dunk off that you can. And yes, he does need to go to a basic basketball camp because he's 10 years old. How tall is he at 10 years old?
He's 4'10". He's a little taller than the average.
Okay, he's a little taller than the average 10-year-old, but not a whole lot. What I'm saying is that he's not kicking 5 feet yet. So he's not.
Not yet.
What I'm saying is that he's still at a point where he's not handling a basketball the same way physically that an adult would. which means he's still going to be a little awkward with his shooting. He's going to need both hands. It's not going to be as easy for him as it would be for me or you. I mean, that's okay. We understand that, but now we know what we're working with. So what I'm saying is that, you know, with a situation like that, he does need to have some basic training so that he can master handling the ball. So I recommend that you do that first, whether he is sponsored or not. I am going to say one more thing here. Do not commit treason against your children.
Commit what?
Treason.
Treason.
Treason, yes. Treason. Treason. Sedition. Betrayal. Do not commit treason against your children. I'm assuming you're a single mother.
Yeah.
Okay, because last time I spoke with a young man, he said mom before too. I haven't heard dad. I'm not going to skewer you about that, but understand I'm not going to cut you no slack because of it. I expect for you to produce for him the same way that a two-parent home would.
Well, I'm only single because I don't want to be with his dad, and I
Ma'am.
live in the house with my son by myself. But
Okay,
if
you
he was
chose him.
You know,
You
his
chose
dad
him.
is the one that told him about you. Like,
Yeah,
I
but-
don't even know about the black.
That's
I
great.
don't know nothing about you. The
That's
channel,
great.
Nothing. He gets this all from his
That's,
dad.
you've gone super defensive, and that's ignorant, and you shouldn't do that. All I said was I expect you to produce like a two-parent household would. And then you start defending yourself. I don't care why. I do not care why you're not with the father anymore. I don't care. Did you notice of everything I said? I didn't ask you what happened. It doesn't matter what happened. You have to now produce. I'm glad that his father is smart enough that he has the young man listening to me, because I'm not interested in him living in a housing project for the rest of his life, or learning that that's the best you can do in this world. Because telling your kids that's not the best you can do don't mean nothing. If they look at your example and all you ever showed them was living in the housing projects and poverty, then guess what? He's going to do what you did. He's not going to listen to what you said. He's going to follow what he saw you do.
I know.
Okay, so let's make sure now we got that out of the way.
That is out of the way.
Next thing to do here is, what do we need to do to make sure that he has all those things, whether or not, first of all, it's not other people's job to sponsor him. Your son has expressed interest in doing this. It's just $600. If you don't have that, you've made a lot of mistakes in life, because we just went through tax season. Why is it that you don't pay for that just to see what happens? Find out. Between you and his father, if y'all ain't got $600, that child needs to be in protective services. So I know you're not going to tell me. I know you're not going to tell me that between you and his father, y'all don't have $600. I know you're not going to tell me that.
I know I am.
Okay.
Money don't make the child. Money don't grow the child. Money don't teach the child.
Okay, but if you shouldn't have children if you can't pay for them. Because this is how your children end up with dreams and ambitions and can't capitalize on any of them, because their parents are telling them, ooh, you play basketball real well. Let me see if I can get somebody else to take care of my kids and see to their dreams.
I'm so sorry. Oh, my God. I'm so sorry.
No, ma'am. It's time for you to be quiet now. When you're asking other people to pay for your children to go to basketball camp, you're asking them to take care of your kids.
I never asked nobody.
Okay,
Sorry.
but your son has expressed an ambition in something. When white white folks' kids want to play piano, they don't pass the collection plate. They pay for their kids' dreams because they're the parent, and it is their job to not just feed and clothe. That's not caring for your child. That's a basic biological function. When your child says, this is what I want to do with my life, the parent is supposed to be able to step in and say, and here's how I will help you do that. You thought that your responsibility stopped at feeding and clothing him? He's got a dream. You're supposed to be there to help him with
My
that.
responsibility is to make sure that my son get a good education and do what he needs to do in order to pursue and live a good and better life than his parents do.
Yes.
That's what my job is, to teach him.
Okay, and he's telling you now.
Someone is offering.
But he's telling you now.
They're offering. I'm not asking no one for nothing. If someone offers, they offer. If I decide,
Yeah, but your son has already said what he wants to do.
That offer,
Your son said what he wants to do now. So it don't matter about anybody else. Your son has said what he wants to do. Okay, now this is where...
and I tell him his grades in school is more important than anything else. Because if you can't succeed in school, you can't succeed in life.
True, but you can do both.
Point blank.
Okay, but you can do both. So you already said he can read and write and count, so the grades should be taken care of. Now back to the basketball. Since you've already said that he's got that already, and you're going back to that again. Now,
because that's something that he needs to really focus on. That's why I don't really talk basketball.
Okay, who said he can't do both? Who said he can't do both? Who said that he cannot do both? Who's saying that?
I didn't say he couldn't do both.
Yes, you are.
I'd rather him be more focused on where he needs to help at. He don't need help when it comes to the basketball.
Okay, now are you saying that your son needs help with reading and writing and counting?
I ain't saying he need help with reading and writing and counting.
You just said
he do need help in some subjects in school. Ain't nobody perfect. Not no kid that's just growing up.
Okay, nobody
There's no way there could be a perfect child or a person.
Okay, nobody said
we
perfect.
We all got flaws.
Nobody said perfect, but there's no reason why he cannot do that as an extracurricular activity. There's no reason that he can't do all of them. I got plenty of people, including myself. I went to school. I studied science, piano, and computer science.
Okay.
When I was only excuse me, no, I'm not talking about today. No, I'm not talking about today, ma'am. I'm talking about when I was his age, ma'am. 10 years old, when I was his age. I was doing all of that. How did I do that? And you're sitting here telling me that he can't concentrate on 2 things and I was doing 4? He can do 2 things and excel at both of them. A strong mind will give him the ability to play basketball better. So there's no reason why he can't do all of it right now. White folk got their kids doing it every day. How is it that you're sitting up here talking about, well, he needs to concentrate on this? White folk are sitting up here with their kids doing all of it. Why can't yours?
Well, that's white folks. I'm not.
No, you're supposed to be better.
Basing it on
you're
the
right.
color of my skin.
You're right. You're supposed to be better.
Like that.
You're right. You're supposed to be better. Those are white folk. I expect you to be better. So you're correct. That's them.
Exactly.
I expect black folk to be better. Why are you not better than them? Because you come to us with excuses. Well, we want to talk about education. I said $600 so your kid cannot have his dreams because you ain't got $600. And you call yourself a parent.
I am a parent. It ain't about the money.
Yeah, it ain't about the money.
My child
it's not about the money.
It ain't about the money.
And this is why we have generational poverty as black people, because of folk like you who don't care if their kids are impoverished or not.
I care because my son ain't
everything.
Sorry, I care. My son is very well taken care of.
He's very well taken care of, but you don't have $600. You don't have $600, but he's very well taken care of.
That's right. He got a roof over his head, food in his belly, and clothes on his back.
Yeah, that is everybody out there. That is the hood rat's definition of taking care of their kids: food and shelter. And you probably ain't even providing those. That's probably food stamps for the food and Section 8 for the shelter. Because you don't have $600.
It don't matter what it is.
Okay, how can you say you're taking care of him?
And all around, you can't dictate how
no.
is. You don't
I'm the
know
taxpayer.
The person's life. You don't know the person.
I'm the taxpayer.
You're just going off of what you know.
No, I'm the taxpayer.
About how you got to where
I'm the one providing your house.
Got to where you're at, the way you got there, don't mean the next person has what you have. You understand where I'm coming from? Nobody has what you got. You got what you got because of how you was brought up, because of how your parents taught you, because of so forth and so on. You don't expect someone to follow.
Listen to her yell, y'all.
About that.
Just listen to her go on and on, everybody. I'm taking care of your kid because my tax dollars pay for that roof over his head. I take care of him.
Okay,
you don't.
And I got a job too, so my taxes is paying for it too.
Apparently your job ain't worth nothing. Really, apparently your job's not worth nothing because you can't get a real place to live. How can
you don't even know where I live though.
How can you say you're taking care of the child if you are not if your name is not paying for the lease? How can you say you're the one taking care of him if you're getting public assistance? Public assistance is taking care of him.
His name's not on the lease. My name is on my lease. Why? What happened?
I said paying for it. I said paying for it.
I pay my rent, my utilities, and everything else. I need to.
Because you just...
My name is on my lease.
So you're not on...
Section 8 do pay half.
Section 8 pays half.
Section 8 pays half.
Let us know when you pay all. Let us know when you pay all. Let us know when you're paying all like an adult does. Let us know when you're paying all.
What adult? Because I don't know no adult that pays all day rent.
I pay all. You don't know an adult who pays all their rent?
You got a business and you done been through whatever it is you done
Wait a
been
minute.
through to get
Wait a
to
minute.
where
Is she serious? She's just told us all that she does not know an adult who pays all of their own rent?
Where you at?
You don't know an adult who pays all of their own rent?
Don't act like you didn't have barriers to get where you at. Please don't act like you're Mr. Good Shoes or whatever. Don't do that. You had a barrier to overcome. Let me find out you ain't never had nothing to overcome in your life. Let me find out you was born out your mother's thing perfect. You was a number 10 as soon as you came out. Sorry, no, you wasn't. You had to overcome some type of obstacle to get where you at today. You did, because everybody did.
Yes, I'm just not making excuses for it and holding my own children down.
That's right, because excuses are the tools of the incompetent used to build monuments to no one. Those who use them seldom succeed in anything they do.
I agree.
will not use
and
excuses.
that's what you're doing for your own son.
I don't use excuses. I tell the truth, and if that's how you feel, that's how you feel. Because you don't live
Then
my
don't
life,
make
you
an
don't know
excuse.
me,
Then don't
and
make
that's just how it
excuses
goes.
now. Then all he needs is $600.
I don't make excuses.
Hey, everybody! I want you
don't
all to
know me.
listen.
You don't even know my life.
I want you all to listen very carefully here. Look here, miss.
Yes, everybody listen very carefully.
I will give your son $600. I'll do it.
For what? Why you
I
give
will.
my son $600?
I will
For what?
because you can't do it, and maybe he'll be worth something, and break the family cycle.
Because I can't do it.
Maybe he'll be worth something, because he doesn't come from that.
Worth what?
So maybe he'll be worth something.
My son is worth something. He's all that I need, and I'm all that he needs.
With your mentality, he ain't got a chance.
Yeah, with my mentality, he got all the chances. Who you think is raising him? Not his daddy.
Well,
where his father at?
And that's why a 10-year-old. And that's why
that's the person that needs to hear this, not me.
And that's why you put a 10-year-old on the phone with a grown man who's a stranger.
No, I didn't. His father texted him and said, "Call the black channel." Like I told you, you wasn't
okay.
listening.
So who are you?
I said, I don't know about you or your little radio. His father
this is the second time he called
the one
me.
that tells him. So that's who you need to be talking to.
This is the second time
to talk to anybody.
He has called me for the second time. So you don't know that your child calls grown people? You don't know that?
Once again, when he called you the first time, y'all didn't even really get a conversation because I shut
okay,
it down
but your son is with you.
Know.
But your son is with you, and you don't know that he calls grown people, and he's right there in the house with you.
He was not in front of me. He was in his room.
Both times.
He was in his room. He was not in front of me.
Both times.
What happened?
Both times that this happened, you got excuses for both.
It happened.
You got excuses for both times.
Because I would have hung up the phone, and his father would have texted me back and said that I was ignorant just because I didn't let him talk to you.
Well,
I was ignorant just because I didn't let my son talk to you.
That's one thing that me and the baby daddy do agree on is the ignorance thing. Go ahead. So you're going to blame the rest of the world for not watching your own child?
Blame the rest of what world? What world? Watching what child?
That child is in that child is in your house under your supervision. If he's calling anybody, that's on you.
That's not on me.
Oh, really?
That's on his daddy. Because his daddy is the one that's doing this. I don't know what goes on between him and his father because I don't speak to the man.
So it's not your job. So it's not your job to supervise that. His
father stay in his lane.
So it's not your job to supervise your son while he's in your house with you. That's not your job.
It is my job to supervise
Apparently
him
not.
at all times.
Then why didn't you do it tonight?
At all times.
Then why haven't you been doing it the last 2 times he called me then?
I have, because it ain't, what's the 2 times? This would be only the second time.
I said the 2 times that he has called me, ma'am. 1 + 1 is 2. This is the second time. That would be the 2 times that he has called me. You were nowhere in sight, but yet you say you were supervising him.
No, you're not listening, because the first time Did you have a conversation with him like you had one with him tonight? No, you didn't, because I shut it down. And if I would have known he was doing this today in his room when he's supposed to be sleeping, I would have shut it down again, because I don't get down like that. I don't even let him talk to people that want to do stuff as simple as help him fix a flat tire. I shut that down, so I know you ain't trying to say I don't pay attention to my son, that I neglect my child, that I unsupervise my child, all that. No, nada, never that, because guess what? Them white people that you talking about like to take your goddamn kids. And best believe you or those white people or that little DCF, whatever they call themselves, will never, ever be a part of my life. So you can continue and keep calling me unsupervised, my child, whatever.
I'm not calling you anything. I'm letting people listen to you.
And I live my life the way I live my life.
Yes, you live your life the way you live your life, and you are accustomed to poverty
and only
and
me
squalor.
And my God will be just fine.
Yeah, but you have a child, and you have no right to screw up their life like you've screwed up your own.
First off, you don't know about my life.
Yeah, I do.
My life because
if you're on Section 8, you failed. If you're on Section 8, you failed as a person.
If I'm on Section 8, I failed as a person.
Yes, that's what that means. If you're on if you're on public assistance, you have failed.
I failed as a person. I'm gonna have to tell the world about you.
Yeah, that's like if you file bankruptcy. If I have a business and I file bankruptcy, that means that I have failed as a business owner. And if you're an adult with a child and you can no longer pay for your own child that you created, you in Section 8 didn't have no kids. If you can't pay for a child that you conceived, then you have failed as a parent at a basic responsibility.
Whoopie-whoop, whoop, the whole entire United States of America has failed. Because how many people on Section 8, do you understand? How many people living in a shelter because of
how many do you think?
Obstacles that were in front of them?
How many do you think?
That's their fault too?
How many do you think? How many do you think are on Section 8? Tell us.
Oh, I don't care about who's on Section 8.
But you just said the whole U.S. failed.
Whatever it is they have to do to make sure that they kids have a roof over their head, even if it's on the corner selling themselves. I don't care. You doing it for your kids? Do it. Get your money and make sure that money goes to your baby. I don't care as long as the child ain't hurt, as long as the child is clean, as long as his health is good, he's good.
So if a mother is selling her body, then that's okay as long as you don't think that hurts the child.
That's not my life, is what I'm trying to tell you.
Okay, but you just said it. But you just said it.
My life, and I ain't gonna try to live your life to make it my life. Do you get that much?
So you're not against it?
Do you get that?
So if a woman is selling her body, you think that doesn't hurt the child? You're okay with that?
If a woman is selling her body, that's her dumb ass, hurting her own self and her own kids and her own family. That's on her. But if that's what she got to do to support her family, support your family the best way you know how. I ain't gonna knock you, because I might be having to do that one day. I don't know. So much stuff goes on these days. Everybody ain't here to help everybody. People be here. Hi, how you doing? Yes, honey. How's the kid? And then tomorrow they be behind your back like that. It's on the corner. Why are you talking about me behind my back? If I'm on the corner selling my body, you know what I'm saying, to help my kids, why don't you come try to help me? You understand? Maybe I need some help. That's why I'm on the corner, because I don't know no better. All I know is the corner. That's why that person's out there, because that's all they know. If someone give a helping hand, instead of trying to talk down to them like you trying to talk down to me about mine, it'd be a better world. But it's not, because don't nobody understand the H-E-L-P. All they understand is the H-U-R-T.
Wow, so people should understand you whoring yourself for your kids. It's their job to just understand. They shouldn't think about it.
You're stuck on the whoring part. You're not listening. What I said
okay,
was,
there's something beyond that? I'm stuck on it, yes. Just like pedophilia. If somebody said, I molest little children, yeah, I'm stuck on that. We ain't going past pedophilia. She's whoring herself? Yeah, we've heard everything.
What I said was, that person that's on that corner, maybe that's all they know.
Okay.
I said maybe they need the H-E-L-P. Help.
Maybe they need their tubes tied.
Get it. Maybe they're afraid to talk up, because all somebody's going to do a whore. I ain't helping you. You's a prostitute. You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
that's all they gonna do, and that's all they gonna say.
Well, do you think that
I deal with someone?
Okay, but you're talking about them. You're
in your face and not help you.
Okay, but you're talking about them. Shouldn't our primary responsibility be to the children? Shouldn't they come before the adults and everything else?
Of course.
Then we don't have to understand. Then we do not have to stop. Then we don't have to understand anything. We don't have to understand them because you just said the children come first. I don't need to know about your job. I don't even have to know about your home life. All I have to know is this hurting this child? And if the answer is yes, I don't need to hear anything else. You just said the child comes first. So either the child comes first or they don't. Okay, then if what she's doing is hurting the child, we don't.
What she's doing is hurting the kids. But if that's all she know what to do, then she gonna do it, and that's the end of that. I'm not even gonna talk about it no more.
If all she knows how to do hurts the children,
you pass on the corner tomorrow, and you ask them.
So if all she knows how to do is hurting the children, you're like, let it ride.
I didn't say that. If all she knows how to do is sell her body to help pay or to help give to her child, then that's all the hell she knows how to do.
But selling her body hurts the children. Okay, but selling
that was the right way.
Okay, but selling her body is hurting the children. So you should be against that because it hurts the children.
That's her child. That's her child.
But it's hurting the child. But it's hurting the child. So you're not saying anything about protecting the child right now. You just said if it hurts the child, no, they shouldn't do that. Okay, but she can sell her body because that's her child.
But you ain't listening to what I said after that. After that, I said that's all they may know. So therefore, like I said,
but that's not an excuse.
That person may need some help.
But that's not.
Point blank.
But that's not an excuse. That's not an excuse.
Don't talk about her hurting her baby, because obviously you could care less.
Okay, but that's like
her hurting her kid. If you ain't trying to help her do something that won't hurt her kid.
Okay, but you're saying like that's an excuse.
You ain't trying to get her in no program.
You're saying that like it's an excuse.
Then she's going to continue to hurt her kid.
But you're saying that like that's an excuse. If that's all she knows, then she can keep doing it. That's not an excuse.
I don't live that life, so it is what it is.
But you keep saying it.
When you pass the next whore and prostitute on the corner, please pick up that conversation with them.
I have.
I'm not a whore. I'm not a prostitute.
But you're defending it.
Hustler.
But you're defending it.
I'm a single mother that loves her kid, graduating from Bunker Hill next year, working for the city. I'm good. What's my Section 8? Boom.
How old?
That's my Section 8.
Just out of curiosity here, I'm 37. How old are you?
And I'm 31, and my son is 10, and he's all I got. 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, not 6 kids.
How many abortions?
1 kid, age 10. He got 10 trophies sitting in front of me.
How many abortions?
Kids doing what he needs to do.
How many abortions?
How many abortions? How many did you have?
I have no children, no miscarriages, no conceptions, no anything. Now, how many abortions? Now, how many abortions?
You just answered your own question.
How many abortions? No, I'm asking you.
But you answered your own question.
No, I haven't.
You say you ain't have no abortions and no miscarriages.
I'm asking you how many. I'm asking you how many you had.
Your question.
Okay, I'm asking you how many you had, not me.
Abortions, none. Okay. Miscarry, 1, because you are not in control of when you miscarry. You miscarry when you don't know you're pregnant,
so
and when other things may happen or something in your body may not be there to help the baby develop or whatever.
Well, I'm very sorry you had a miscarriage.
No abortion. See you later. Ain't killing no kids over here.
Well, I'm very sorry. I'm very sorry about your miscarriage. Did you have the miscarriage before or after your son?
I'm sorry too, and thank God that baby ain't here.
Well, was that before or after your son?
That was before my son, not after.
Okay. Were you married to the father? Okay. Were you married to anybody?
No. Anything else?
Have you been
not.
Have you been married to anybody at all?
31. Think I'm a little young for that. Continue.
A little young for marriage?
Yeah, I am, because I still have school ahead of me, and I need to finish what I am set out to do. I have
Okay.
my own goals.
But
I
marriage,
ain't following nobody else's
marriage is less of a children are the most important responsibility and the heaviest you'll ever have.
Okay,
and you
I know
say
that,
you're too
and
young.
I'm not worried
Okay,
about
ma'am,
no marriage or anything like
you're
that right
saying
now.
you're saying that you're too young for marriage, but you're not too young to get pregnant twice.
I'm too young for marriage, but I'm not too young to what?
Okay, you had kids 10 years ago, but you're saying at 10 years later you're still too young for marriage, but you weren't too young to have children. Even though children are a much heavier responsibility than marriage. Marriage is nothing compared to children, but you're too young for marriage, but not too young to have 2 kids.
Nope, I'd rather have my kid than to be married because I don't trust. I have a trust issue. Let's just say that, and that's where we gonna stop at. I don't trust
90
nobody
seconds.
but my son.
No, I understand.
I don't even trust you, and I'm talking to you.
You should.
I'm
you,
a fool
look,
right now.
Look,
But keep going.
You should not trust somebody you just got on the phone with in one day. That would be just silly. Was your mom married?
But I won't. It doesn't matter if it was 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days. I can know you for 5 years and still not trust you. It don't matter. That's
I
just
wouldn't-
me because things have happened.
I wouldn't have
And if
somebody
I don't trust you,
around.
I don't trust you. It is what it is.
I wouldn't have somebody around for 5 years if I didn't trust them. Just me personally, I
Exactly,
wouldn't have them
that's
around
why.
for 5 years.
Me and my child. Did you? I think I said that already.
Yeah,
Me
was
and
your mom?
10-year-old.
was
Nobody else.
Was your mom the same way?
I don't know. You would have to ask her.
Was she ever married? You know that.
No, I know enough. Nope.
So
she was
your
never
mom,
married.
your mom was never married either. How about your grandmother? Was she ever married?
I don't know. I don't know. If I knew her, I would ask her. But my mother's mother is no longer around, and I never got to meet her. So
She never talked about her,
you
but
know.
she never talked. She talked to you about your grandmother, but she's never talked to you about your grandfather.
No.
So there has just
Wasn't
basically.
important. I never asked about them.
Well,
Because
it's not.
I'm the child. Remember, if I'm not important, fuck you. You ain't important either.
I mean, but what
I'm not
you're-
gonna go searching and running for you.
10.
Running and looking for me.
But that's your
I'm
family
not gonna
legacy.
search for you.
But that's your-
I'm not the cops.
But that's your family legacy. Don't you need to know your family legacy?
Well, guess what? My mama should have taught me better, but she didn't, because she only know what her mama and her daddy taught her. On to the next question, because we ain't gonna talk about my mother.
Well, I want you all to do better than that.
Who? Oh, I'm doing better than that with my child. I don't know about nobody else.
Okay,
but my
your
child,
mom-
the one you was just talking to,
Your mom
he
was.
know his grandmother, who's
Your-
my mother.
Okay, but he
He
doesn't.
know his dad's mom, even though before she passed, God rest her soul, he met her, and he met his grandfather, which is his dad's dad. He's still
But what
living.
about yours?
So my son's cool.
So he only knows the grandfather from. So he knows a patchwork of his family. He doesn't know all of it.
Nope, he's 10.
And you're
Still got a
saying,
whole lot to
okay,
go,
but
a
you're
whole lot of
saying,
learning.
but you're saying that you did better, and even though it's the same situation, you had a patchwork, and now he has a patchwork. Nobody has a complete family, just this patchwork quilt.
Hello?
Yes, I was saying that. So he's got the same thing as you, just a patchwork quilt of a family. He doesn't have a complete one either. He can't know everybody. He just knows a person here and a person there.
Because mind you, he's only 10. He ain't 35.
How
still
long-
wondering who's this and that.
Yeah, but he should know. He should know the
Believe
grandmother
me,
and
he
grandfather
gonna know
on
his
both
family.
sides. He knows. He needs to know the grandmother and grandfather on both sides of the family, and he don't.
He do know his grandmothers. Yes. I just
Okay,
told
what
you
about
he
the
know his
grandfathers?
father's mother
What about the
before she
grandfathers?
passed away.
Okay, but what about the grandfathers? What about them?
He knows his father's father. I already said if I don't know I don't even know I never seen my father.
Okay, that's my
He had
point.
me and left. And like I said, I'm not going to search for you. I'm the child. You look for me.
Well, that's
I'm
my
not gonna
point.
look for you, because if I look for you, it's not going to be a pretty
Okay,
sight. And
so
I'm
you're
straight on all that.
And your son has lost that too, though. Not just you. You may be okay with it, but your son is not. He's a male. He needs male influences. And right now, the females outnumber the males.
A father.
But the females in his family outnumber the males 2-1.
Not in whose family? My son's
In yours,
family?
in yours, in
Actually,
yours.
No, in my family?
Yes, you already said your mother, your mother, your grandmother, and he only knows his dad and his grandfather on his dad's side.
I said he knows his retract yourself. I said,
no,
if
ma'am.
you want to
It's math.
quote me right.
It's math.
I said he knows his dad's mother.
Yes,
before
that's
she
his grandmother.
away,
That's his grandmother.
And he knows
that's one.
the father's father.
And that's it.
And he knows my mother, because that's all I got. And
yes.
That's all he needs to know.
But he knows.
You ain't got to worry about what I
he
don't
knows
got,
2 males.
Mess you up.
As I said before, you all outnumber him 2-1, ma'am. It's math. He knows 4 females and only 2 males. That's math, ma'am. It's math. 4 females and 2 males. That's math. You got him outnumbered 2-1, ma'am. I'm sorry if I put that together real quick, but that's math. 4 females you just named and only 2 males. The females outnumber the males 2-1. And you wonder why your son is 10 years old calling me wanting to know, can somebody please help me play basketball?
Because his father told him to call you. Like, once again, you wasn't listening.
I bet you got a bunch of skinny jeans in that house.
To call you. So when you say
I bet you got skinny jeans. I bet you got
Not
some
to
skinny.
me.
I bet you got some skinny jeans in that house for your son and some swagalicious clothing. I bet you got that.
I got what he needs. No
Yeah.
matter if it
Wow.
can pay less, we still will swag it out.
Everybody-
Probably how you do that.
Everybody, she's basically conceding that I'm right. You were supposed to say no. That's wrong. That was the correct answer.
I didn't say yes or no. I said it don't
Yeah,
matter.
you did.
Because
Yeah, you did.
You can have on pay less.
If you
shoes
if
and
you
still
don't
be swagged out.
if
It
you
don't
don't
matter about his
if
clothes.
you don't know that his clothing matters, if you don't know that it does matter, you conceded that I was right. Because a parent is supposed to know that their kid's clothing matters. They're kind
So if you
they're
think I
kind
don't
of
know
supposed to
that,
know
that's
that.
on you. I ain't gotta sit here and spill my guts out to you and tell you what my son got and what he don't got. What he
Who
got
is-
is what he got. Like I said, you don't know
Who-
us.
who
I ain't
is the
about to say,
baby-
oh, he got this. That,
Okay,
this
where-
and that. I ain't gonna sit here and tell you everything my son got, but he
You
ain't
keep
no
bringing
bum-ass
up-
kid if that's what you think.
Okay, you keep bringing up the guy, the baby father. Who is he? Because I don't know who he is, and he was telling this kid
Who
to call
is he?
me.
He called you. He listened to you. That's who he is. He's the man that told my son to call you.
Then
Like
can
I told
you-
you already.
Okay, can you tell him to call me so that I will know who he is then? Because I've talked
Yeah,
to
and you need to tell him all of this stuff.
I will
that
tell
you
him.
were telling me. You
I
need
will.
To
If
push
you
your
can,
dad away. 'Cause
if you can get him on the phone right now, I will say it right in front of you.
look, I got a problem with that man because I asked for little things small like an ant, and I still don't get no help.
Okay.
So I'd be damned if I waste my time to pick up that phone and call him if it ain't got nothing to do with my child. I already told the man, I ain't talking to you if it ain't got nothing to do with my child. I called him today, left him a message. I said, can you take your son to the dentist so I won't be late for work? You think the man called me back yet? Hell no. What did he do? Text my son to call you.
How
So
old
once
is he?
that happened,
How old is
I
he?
left him a message like, don't have my... I said, you can leave my son a message about calling some black channel, but you cannot return my call about taking him to the damn dentist on your day off.
How old
How
is
about
he?
that one? So
Well-
that's why all of this conversation need to be directed
Okay,
to him.
listen up. How old is he?
How he older than... I'm 31. You said you, what, 37? You
No,
said
no,
38.
him.
You said-
How
he
old
about
is-
your age.
He's about my
He
age.
about your age. 37, 38 years. He about your age.
Okay, he's about my age. Well, I wanna
I
have
think
a
he works for the T.
Okay.
Yeah, he works for a nice job.
ma'am. I don't. That's okay. I want to speak with him.
Well, I don't know how that's going to happen unless you're going to call him.
I will call
and ask
him.
him why you got your son calling me.
I will call him. I will call him.
Maybe that's who you need to call.
I'm
He's the one that
asking
got his
you.
10-year-old calling
I
me.
am asking you.
857-939-5007. Write it down.
Well, don't get out his number over the air like that. Don't do that. That's not cool. That's not cool.
Oh, I didn't even know I was on the air.
No, yes,
I
ma'am.
thought I was just talking
No,
to you.
ma'am. No, you're not just talking to me. There's hundreds and soon to be thousands of people who will listen to this.
He's
Don't.
probably listening so he could hear his son talk to you. That's
Well,
how he knew last
what I'm-
time
what
that
I'm-
I hung it up.
Well, you know what? Here's the thing, okay? I've done a lot of talking to you, and I don't think it's fair that I should just talk to one of you, especially when there were 2 people involved in all this. So I'm trying to be fair about this. I want to talk to this guy. I want to talk to him.
I don't know how am I supposed to help you talk to him if you
Will
know
you-
what I mean? And plus, right now he's driving the T,
Driving the T.
and he don't get off work till like morning, like 2 o'clock in the morning, something like that.
I don't know what the T is. Is that a truck, a train? I'm from Louisiana.
Yeah, the MBTA,
okay.
like the bus, the transit system.
Yeah, we don't have boy.
Yeah,
if we had that here, we just call it the bus. But in other big cities, they call it transit.
Well, here it's called the Massachusetts Bay Transit Authority, the MBTA.
Okay.
That's what we call it in Boston.
He works for Bay Transit. Okay. I want to speak to this guy. So I don't know if he's listening or not, but if he is,
no, he's listening because he's gonna call my phone or
that's good. That is good.
Some shenanigans.
What you tell him is that Jason said he very much wants to speak with you. Now, most people call me or whatever, and they use like their screen names from Facebook or whatever. Now that I will allow you to give if he has like a Facebook or Twitter. If you know, do you know what that is?
He got a Facebook. Yeah, I know the Facebook name.
Okay, what's that?
Patrice Lumumba.
I know who that is.
Yup, and you just spoke to his son, and I'm his baby mama. One of them. One of them. Let's see, I'm number 2. We ain't gonna go with how many more after.
Okay, give me just a moment here because, like I say, in all honesty, I want to be fair. I'd like to talk to both of you if humanly possible. But, okay, I know who it is here. And I'm taking a look at this thing. Patrice. Now, I've talked to her, brother. And I want to talk to you. So now that I know exactly who this has all been very informative. But, brother, you need to give me a call. Okay? Now, now just to make sure that happens, okay? Because I'm trying to show you, I'm not here to beat up on anybody. I want to be completely impartial and fair about this. In case for some reason he decides to be difficult to contact, I want to definitely make sure that I have the ability to at least get in touch with where you are concerned.
Yeah, well, I'm not gonna lie. He's not like a rude, ignorant individual.
I know.
He probably would listen to you.
I know he's a rather soft-spoken person, but that is not where my concern comes from. My concern
it's the kid.
My concern comes from, yes, it's about the children. I don't care about y'all. The child, on the other hand, is different. And in his case, as a man, I expect, like I said, I don't give people passes. I'm not gonna give you one, and I don't give him one either. So, in all honesty, that's what I want to speak with him about, is because this child has called me twice. The young kid obviously wants to do something. It should not be a situation where y'all are wondering, okay, well, what are we going to do? Our kid wants to do something. What are we going to do? That's supposed to be handled.
I already have a little slight problem like that now. My son was mad earlier because he couldn't connect. He couldn't connect to the internet from his the game system, because you can connect to the internet to the game system. He was going to try to like do his project on George Washington for school, but I don't like have the cord or whatever you need, so that he can have internet access on his game and he could, look up Google and do what he needs to do for school. He's crying and I'm like, stop crying. Why are you crying? And I have to explain to him, like, I am the only one that do everything in this house, and I try to give you everything you ask for. Like, I try so hard, and I always say, ask your dad, ask your dad. You know what my son say? He says, no, mommy, I can't ask my dad, because all he going to say is no. And for a kid to know not to ask their parent for something, because he going to say no, and that's the only answer he going to give them, what does that leave me to do? I don't want to bash him, because that is your father, but that ain't fair to me, because that leaves me with something extra to pay. Like, I would have to not pay for something in order to give him what he wants. Who don't want to give their kid everything? Who don't? Everybody does. Everybody wants to make sure that their kids are good, that their kids not want for nothing. But I can't be one of them people if the other person ain't there willing to put in the other 50, other 60, other whatever it is that need to be put in.
You know what? Everybody cannot give their children everything. And it's not about giving your children things. In this case here, and people know how I feel about that, this is not about things. This is about making sure that your child has the ability to be everything he can be in life. And that starts, especially for a young male, with acquiring power, wealth, and influence. And when you start talking about preparing your child for a job and not a business, get educated. All that really means is, well, get smart so somebody will hire you. You're not trying to get him power, wealth, and influence. You just want a life of mediocrity. If you're not talking about power, wealth, and influence for your son, you are committing treason against him. Because the white kids, the Asian kids, and the Hispanic kids that he will have to grow up and compete against are going to choke him out. He won't be able to go from job to job. Those folk are already closing ranks, and they are going to use their economy to annihilate us as a race. Hell, they're already doing it. Down there in Brooklyn, Manhattan, Staten Island, Harlem. They're already doing it. So if I don't hear you talking that way, and I haven't been hearing that, I'm hoping it'll change here in a moment. But if I'm not hearing that, that's the first thing that goes up, is that this child is going to be just left out there to his own devices. And that's
he's not. And that's, he knows.
Okay, so what are you going to do to help him cultivate power, wealth, and influence? Let me find that out.
I just believe in education.
Okay, what does that mean? What does that mean? I don't know. I don't know what that means.
Because he's listening to you.
Yeah, I told him.
On my house.
I told him to.
Hello? Hello?
Yes?
Hello? Well, now he's like, he just called my house and I said nothing, so I hung up. I didn't understand the point of that.
Well, when you say education, what is the goal of you getting quote First of all, what is education? And second of all, what is your goal for it? I want him to be educated. What does that mean? I don't know what that means. Don't worry about
not answering that phone.
Don't worry about Lumumba. Because I asked him to call, but he's calling the wrong number.
Oh, he must be.
I'll give him a way to call in here shortly, but I want to find out, what do you mean by I want him to have an education, and what exactly is the goal? What's he supposed to do with this education? What is it, and what's he supposed to do with it?
Well, yeah, his education is him, of course, learning, reading, arithmetic, science, biology, and all that stuff that you and I learned when we went to school. And what I want him to get from learning all of this stuff, how to just take it and become somebody. Or, yeah, take it and become somebody, and when you become that person, use what you was taught and use it well. That's what I want for my son. I want him to grow up knowing that he's a very well black man that's very well educated, has a good head on his shoulders, has his business. If that's what my son wants, then
okay, well, we're a little short on time. Okay, but we're a little short on time here, but here's the thing. The problem with what you're saying is that this is that dependency thing, because you're talking about education. You mean the public schools. Public schools do not teach your children how to gain power, wealth, and influence. Neither do colleges. They learn that in the home from you. You are the only person who can teach him to do that. So when you say in education, what you're doing, again, like the Section 8 and everything else, let me get these other folks to take care of this. No, you are the only one who can do this. Just you. So the conversation cannot move away from you. It has to be just you. So I'm trying to find out, what are you going to do? Because the schools aren't going to do that. And education or a degree is never going to do that. That's a lie. So what are you going to do?
I'm going to help him. I'm going to push him. I'm going to be that person to give him the extra oomph in his life that he needs. Well, I'm going to be the one to make sure he goes.
Then let's start now.
Mile to get whatever he wants.
Okay, let's start now.
Whatever he needs.
Then let's start now. He's already expressed an interest in oomph, needing some oomph for what he wants. Let's start right here, right now with this.
Okay, and once again, I don't work 100 hours a week and 50 hours a week and all of that. You understand where I'm coming from? It takes more than one person. I can do it. I ain't saying I'm a weak person. I ain't saying that I need the other person, but it would be nice for me not to be in it by myself.
Right, but what I'm saying is that
it's not going to be as easy.
Okay, but I get that.
It is.
I get that, but from now on, can we agree that we're going to stop the education talk, because that doesn't actually mean anything? What you're saying is the public schools will somehow turn, as you said, make him into somebody. No, that's your job 100%, not 50. 100% of that is on you and his father. Y'all do that. This has nothing to do with schools and nothing to do with anything outside that door of your home. That is where
I guess that's what's for me to do. I really can't say nothing about the FBI.
Okay, well, let's talk about you, okay?
For me to do.
Let's talk about you then, what you can do, because you can't guarantee that Lumumba's going to do something, but you can guarantee what you are going to do.
He's my only child. The father got more than just my child to worry about. That's why I ain't, not focused on him, because he got a lot. Not focused on him.
Right, well, now focusing on you then. I don't want to know what he's going to do. Forget him. I want to know what you're going to do. Starting with this, what are you, if his father decides tomorrow that he's just going to go to deadbeat dadville, okay, this boy still needs things. So what are you going to do?
And I'm still going to make sure my child has what he needs.
Then
his necessities, not his
okay,
wants.
Those
it's the difference between a necessity and a
okay,
want.
but it's a necessity that he learn how to build his own business and cultivate power, wealth, and influence now. That's a necessity too. And you're dodging
that's a necessity.
And you're dodging it. And you're dodging that. You're dodging it. You haven't said one word about what you're going to do for that. When I asked you, you said, well, the schools will take care of it. Schools ain't going to do nothing. What are you going to do?
I said the schools teach him arithmetic and math and all the stuff that he was learned. They're going to teach him the same thing, and I will be the other person to push him where they couldn't take him. I take him.
Okay, well, he needs that now.
That's how it works.
Okay, he needs that now with basketball. So what we're going to do here?
He's fine with basketball. Actually, basketball season is quite over. I just went today and picked up the trophy. Yeah, me, not his daddy.
Okay,
his mama.
But
his daddy didn't even ask him if he got it.
Right, but as you stated that, and which is the right thing, if he's going to excel, he does need some personal training. A basketball camp at his age would be a good thing, especially if you have a good teacher there. So what are we going to do to take?
And he plays with a basketball outside, and little cookouts and stuff, and there'd be people there, like coaches that have their own team, that have their own. No,
ma'am. No. That's not what that means. He needs a tutor. You know exactly what I'm talking about. I ain't talking about no cookouts. He needs somebody that he goes and talks to 1 or 2 days a week to train him.
Yep, he do.
He's got somebody who personally trains him 1 or 2 days a week, because you just said you didn't have $600 for a basketball camp. Now he's got to train him 2 days a week.
I'm agreeing with you. I ain't saying he got it. I was agreeing.
Okay, then what are we going to do to make that happen?
I'm going to have to be that parent to go out of her way and find him that.
Because your son is
I don't know how, but I'm going to do it, because I just moved where I live at. I only been here for a year, and it's predominantly a second language type of a city. Meaning no one really speaks English where I live.
Yeah, well, here's the thing, okay? Where most black parents fail is that they expect their children to figure it out themselves. And that's wrong.
I don't expect my child and no other kid to figure nothing out.
Stop! I'm not talking about you. Stop being so defensive. If I meant you, I would have said you. Stop being so defensive, please.
Well, I can't.
The problem that, ma'am, that's not helpful in life, because your son needs to learn temperance, and you have not been showing him that. He learns that.
He sleeps. He don't see nothing. I don't act like this in front of my child, and I don't talk like this in front of him.
He's been hearing you the whole time. Please.
Because he sleeps, he can hear me. All right,
ma'am,
go ahead.
He's picking up all these mannerisms. But the thing is that there's a book you should pick up called 10,000 Hours. And the reason for that is because this guy did a comprehensive study where he determined, and he's correct about this, that the people in this world who most excel at anything, what he found was they all had one thing in common: at least 10,000 hours of study before they were recognized as the best in the world. What does that mean? That means that we have to start young, and we have to start often. 10,000 hours is a lot of time, but you need the practice so that you can master whatever it is you're trying to master. Your son has expressed an interest in something. We need to start as early as possible to put in the 10,000 hours. The difference between LeBron James, Michael Jordan, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, and all the greats, and everybody who got cut from the team after 2 or 3 years was that Jordan never stopped practicing, Kobe never stops practicing, LeBron never stops practicing. If they're not on the court, they're somewhere else playing ball. They're at charity events playing balls. They're playing ball every time they're awake. They got most of their time with a ball in their hands, even though they're at the pro level and don't need to do it all the time anymore. But that's how you become excellent at everything. If this child is expressing interest now, everybody needs to be on board to get him to a level of excellence.
Is expressing himself in basketball, because what you just said about LeBron played charity and not just on the court during the game. My son don't play for no charity, but he ain't always in a league playing. He just go outside and just play, even if it's by himself. It doesn't matter. The ball is his life. Basketball and soccer, that's his life. Well, a part of his life.
The reason that Lumumba wanted him to call me was because he wants to start the process of getting your son to understand that his life's goal should not be to, quote, get an education. That is wrong. His life's goal should be power, wealth, and influence, and that only comes from what he owns, what he controls, and what he can pass down. Getting an quote, education is only going to get him a job. You do not own a job, you do not control a job, and you cannot pass it down. And that means that it can be taken from you at any time. And you know how rough it is out there for you right now. Think about how hard it's going to be for your son in a world that already despises black males. Think about that. That is why a job and an education cannot be the key, because those are red herrings. They're actually dead ends. What he can generate and do on his own, that is the only thing that he can control, and nobody can take it away from him. And from there, he can, in 10 years, he can get another bunch of little kids together, and he can train them, and he can make the Harlem Globetrotters look like the little old ladies at the Y. And he won't have to go to the NBA. He won't have to fight with white supremacist sports agents or nothing. It'll be something he owns and controls. That was why his father wanted him to call me, because he knows that's what I'm going to tell him. I'm not going to tell him get a job or an education. I'm going to ask the young man, let's talk about something that you own and control. Now, what I've learned from talking to you is that your son has an alacrity and an affinity for basketball, but he probably doesn't have the skill set yet that anybody would pay him for. He's going to need some extra help to acquire a skill set that people will pay for. That's the bad news. The good news is, if everybody is willing to do something, he can get there. If he's able to put in the time and the effort, and everybody else gives him the ability to get proper training, he can get it. There's no such thing as talent in this world. That's a lie. Talent is a religious concept. I know this because I'm an artist, I'm a musician, and computer science and everything else. The Black Channel, everything you see on the Black Channel, I did all that. It's not because I'm a genius. It is because I spend most of my time studying. And people call that genius. The person
So isn't a talent taught, not given?
No, a talent is given. Most people define a talent as something that you're, quote, born with. A gift that allows you to excel beyond other people because you're born with it. And that's a lie. There's no such thing as talent. Everything is skill. Everything. Some people may pick up a skill quicker than other people, but everything is a skill. Everybody can learn how to do anything. The real question is, who's gonna do it? What's your name? Go ahead.
I'm not telling you my name on the
Go
radio.
ahead. I don't bite.
No, because there's like a million people listening.
Not quite. A little under that. But it's just you, me, and a few thousand of our closest friends. Okay, don't worry about them. Do you have a Facebook or a Twitter?
It's Betty Sugar Smith on Facebook.
Okay, Betty.
Without the R, S-U-G-A.
Okay, Betty Sugar Smith. Okay, well, Betty, look here.
No, it's Sugar Smith on Facebook.
Oh.
My real name ain't on there.
Oh, okay, Sugar Smith. All right, that's perfect. All right, Sugar. Smith. Let's just try Smith. Let's try that. All right, Miss Smith.
All right, go on.
Oh, look, yeah, I'm not calling you Sugar because I figure somebody who's making you feel a certain way should be calling you Sugar. I know I'm from Louisiana, but we just don't do that down here like that.
Nope, that's just the name that I like, and that people call me. I really don't like my name because it's stereotypical, but go ahead.
Now, here's the thing, okay? In all seriousness, I don't have any children. So what that means is that the world around me is being constituted by those of you who do have children. Now, I have a choice to make. I can watch the whole thing go to hell, or I can actually try to tell y'all what you need to do to fix those kind of things, if you'll listen. If you will listen, your son will actually be able to fix some of these things. But you've got to hold of some misnomers that you will need to let go of yourself to allow him to get there. I want you to make your son the most important promise tonight you possibly could. Make a promise to your son that you're going to start encouraging him to develop power, wealth, and influence on his own. And it doesn't even matter if he does not quite understand what that means today. All that really matters is if you understand it. Which you don't understand it yet, but I want you to start listening to me regularly, and you'll get it. But your son's not going to get where you think he's going by getting a job. That's a dead end. It's a red herring. He can't get there from here.
Who wants a job? You need a career. That's why
you don't. That's a career is a job. A career is working for somebody else. A career is working for somebody else.
Even if you have your own business, that's not considered working.
A business is not a career. A business is a business. It's an enterprise. It is not a career. That is why you cannot.
Don't you gotta work?
That is why you cannot go into a place where you work and say, this is my enterprise. You go into your job and say that's your enterprise. They're going to fire you very quickly.
Who does that? That's not your
Okay, that's the point.
Enterprise.
Okay, so career and business cannot be interchangeable by definition because career is something that you use to reference working for someone else. So it can't mean both things. Either it means working for someone else or it means working for yourself. Either you have a business or you have a job. You have an enterprise or you have a career. You do not have both. By definition, you can't have both. So let's talk about the business. I want you to get addicted to that concept also. I want to ask you one last thing before I let you go, Sugar Smith. You're 31 years old. What do you want to do with your life?
I want to be a probation officer. That's what I want to do in my life.
That's what you want to do for the rest of your days is deal with other people and their legal problems. And to hear about the tragedies that got them on parole and probation. That's what you want to do for the rest of your life?
If I'm good at it, I'm going to do it.
Yeah, but is that what you want to do with your life? That makes you spring out of bed every morning happy to get up? That's what would do that for you?
Yep, happy to know that I'm helping somebody else. You're damn right, because ain't nobody helping me. I'd rather help somebody that need it than to lock them up and throw the key away all the time.
Right, but you do understand that you will have to. You do understand that you will have to do that, though. And
I will do.
And by the way, that won't be your choice. That won't be your choice. But it won't be your choice. That'll be up to the judge. That won't even be.
I already know it. I know. I studied it. I studied CJ.
Okay, I got a better.
I'm a dean student. I'm okay. I got that.
Well, I got a better idea here. How about we help people avoid ever becoming a part of the system? How about that? Instead of catching them after the fact when they're already in, why don't we prevent them from even getting that far? How about that? Why is it that's not an option?
The person has to do it themselves.
Okay, but you know what?
To do that.
They have to do it themselves. You're correct, but by your own statement. So you advocate helping hookers who are out there selling themselves, but you don't think we can help other people? We're flip-flopping now. Pick a direction to stay in.
Yeah, you can help other people. I advocate for any and everybody.
Okay.
Yeah, you can help people not enter the system. You can help people not get on heroin and coke and all that.
Okay, but you also understand that an ounce of prevention is worth more than a ton of cure. You also understand that. So why are we not putting our efforts... Okay, so why are we not concentrating the majority of our efforts towards preventing the illness in the first place? How about that? Why are we not doing that instead?
Never thought about that. I just thought about maybe I can help you before the judge really give you the sentence, before he tell you 5 years and he send you to me. I could help you because that's what he's doing. He's already gave you the second chance.
But the point is that do you know what the failure rate is once they've already hit the judge? Their failure rate is over 50% by the time they get to the judge. So what does that tell us? That tells us that our goal should be to prevent them from getting to the judge the first time, not to try to save the 50% the second time. We need to be trying to prevent them from getting to the judge in the first place. Now, what are we going to do to prevent that? Because white society's
So how do you prevent a sex offender from offending?
Asian society's prison rate is so low because they help their children avoid getting in front of a judge to begin with. Same thing for the Arabs. Same thing for the Latinos. They avoid the system before we even get there. And that's why they don't have to put a bunch of money into parole and probation for their people, because they avoid even going in the first place. Their way works. We as black folk are trying to use a ton of cure. Why don't we just use an ounce of prevention? And just stop it before we even get that far along. Why not that?
No, maybe you gave me an idea. How about that?
And you know what? I'm willing to help you. I'm willing to help you.
I do got the gift of gab, and I've done. And the only way you can help people is if you done been through it, and that's
well, you know what? That's not true. That's not true at all. I've never been a hooker, a drug addict, a dope fiend. Stop.
Either.
Okay, stop. I've never been a hooker, a drug addict, a dope fiend, a pedophile, a con man. I've never been any of those things. But I'm able to help other people, even though I have no experience. You just said that. How do you know if you ain't been through it? I haven't been through it, and you just admitted you haven't been through those things either. But you think you can help those people, so that disproves that you don't have to go through something to be able to help somebody who's going through it. I don't have to be a single parent to help a single parent. I'm against single parenthood, but I don't have to be a single parent or even be for single parenthood to help a single parent who's going wrong. I don't have to do that. That's not a requisite. I don't have to go through what you've been through to help you. As a matter of fact, it's better if I haven't been. Because if you're an alcoholic, you really want a counselor who's never tried alcohol before. Because someone who has is likely to go a lot easier on you. You want somebody who hasn't been in that world, who can see objectively, because how else are they going to see things that you don't see? Because you're trying to get where they are. So you need somebody who's never drunk alcohol, ideally. Now, of course, I know that's not ideal. I've never had to drink alcohol in my life. I would be ideal in that situation, but I understand that people like me are not that common. But wouldn't it be better if I'm trying to become a person who does not drink alcohol? Wouldn't it be best if I studied under somebody who doesn't drink alcohol, as opposed to somebody who does, even if it's just socially?
True, but how you know what they've been through?
Well, if they're an alcoholic and we're Alcoholics Anonymous, he just told me. He came to the door. He came to the door, Smith. So that's how I know.
But how you know if that person that's running it, you know what I mean? How you know if they ain't never did it or if they did? Like, how you know, though?
Like I say, we will have to simply test them regularly. Make sure they're not using. But what I'm saying is that let's just assume they are, okay? Forget about how do you know? Let's assume that they are.
Well, then I don't want to be a part of their program if they're using drugs, and I'm trying to get help from them.
Okay, but
help me if
we're not going to keep nobody who's using drugs. Obviously, we're not going to keep them. But let's not do that, because most drug counselors are not using drugs. So most of them are not. So let's just stick in the world where we're at.